9th of January, 528 BCE, the banks of the Naranjara River, near the settlement of Uruvela. The night air is thick with the scent of jasmine and the humidity of the coming monsoon. A solitary figure sits beneath the sprawling canopy of a Ficus religiosa, the Bodhi tree. The world around him is alive with the nocturnal sounds of the Indian jungle, the chirp of crickets, the distant call of a jackal, the rustling of leaves in the warm wind. But inside the mind of Siddhartha, a different kind of noise seeks to take hold. He sits in absolute stillness, his legs folded, his hands resting gently in his lap. To the observer, he appears to be merely resting, but he is engaged in the ultimate confrontation. The ancient texts describe this moment as a battle against the armies of Mara. In the mythology, these are demons firing arrows and hurling storms. However, the reality of this moment is far more relatable and far more visceral. The armies of Mara are not physical monsters. They are thoughts. They are the racing currents of doubt, the sharp pangs of memory, and the seductive whispers of what if. They are the very same forces that visit you when your head touches the pillow. The surrounding shadows believed they could disturb his peace by throwing the chaos of the world at him. They believed that by showing him visions of the past and fears of the future, they could force him to move, to react, to fight back. What they did not know was that the battle was already over, not because he fought, but because he stopped engaging. He did not raise a shield against the thoughts. He simply watched them dissolve, like mist burning off under the morning sun. Tonight, you step into that same shadow of the Bodhi tree. You are not here to fight the mind. You are not here to silence the noise through force. You are here to understand the nature of the noise, to watch it, and by watching it, to strip it of its power. This is a journey into presence. It is an exploration of the timeless wisdom that has served as a refuge for restless minds for over 2,500 years. These are not rules to follow or doctrines to memorize. They are invitations, invitations to see differently, to soften your grip, and to uncover the deep well of peace that has been within you all along. The journey begins by acknowledging the entity that keeps you awake. The ancient teachers called it Kapachita, or the monkey mind. Imagine a monkey in a dense forest, swinging from branch to branch. It grabs one branch, holds it for a second, then releases it to grab another and then another, never resting, always moving. This is the biological rhythm of the untrained human consciousness. It is not a defect. It is not a failure of your character. It is simply a mechanism that has forgotten how to stop. When you lie in bed, the monkey mind scans for friction. It looks for the unfinished business of the day. It replays conversations, analyzing tone and subtext. It projects into tomorrow, rehearsing scenarios that have not happened and likely never will. This friction is what the Buddha called dukkha, often translated as suffering, but more accurately described as unsatisfactoriness. It is the subtle, pervasive sense that things are never quite right. It is the stress we feel when we resist the natural flow of sleep, clinging to the activity of the day. To understand this friction and how to release it, we turn to a story that mirrors the condition of the overthinker. It is the story of a young woman named Mara who lived in a village at the foot of a great mountain. Mara was a weaver, and her skill was unmatched. She wove tapestries of incredible beauty, their colors as vibrant as the sunrise, and their patterns as intricate as a spider's web. People came from all over the kingdom to purchase her work, and she was celebrated for her artistry. Mara's identity, her sense of self-worth, was woven into every thread. She believed that she was the weaver, and that the beauty of the cloth was a definition of her soul. For a time, this brought her great happiness, but with her success came a quiet, creeping fear. The monkey mind began to whisper. Each new tapestry had to be more beautiful than the last. She would lie awake at night, her mind racing with designs, worrying that her inspiration would one day vanish. The joy of creation slowly became tainted with the anxiety of expectation. The turning point came when a royal messenger arrived with a commission from the king himself. He wanted a tapestry that captured the essence of the entire kingdom, its forests, its rivers, its people, its spirit. It was the greatest honor of her life, and it terrified her. She built a new, larger loom. She bought the most expensive threads of silk and gold. But for weeks she sat before the empty loom, her hands trembling. The immensity of the task paralyzed her. The fear of not being perfect, of not living up to her own reputation, was a cage she could not escape. Her loom stood empty, a monument to her fear. Her once joyful workshop became a place of dread. The friction in her mind became a constant torment. She was caught in the trap of the racing mind, swinging from the branch of "I must do this" to the branch of "I cannot do this." One evening, unable to bear the silence of her workshop any longer, she walked up the mountain path as the sun began to set. She came to a small hermitage where an old nun lived, a woman known for her quiet wisdom. Mara, her voice choked with despair, explained her predicament. She spoke of the racing thoughts, the pressure, the inability to rest. The old nun listened patiently, her eyes as calm as a deep forest pool. When Mara had finished, the nun did not offer technical advice. She did not tell her how to weave better or how to organize her time. She simply said, "Come, let us watch the sunset." They sat together on a rock overlooking the valley. The sky was a canvas of brilliant oranges, deep purples, and soft pinks. It was breathtakingly beautiful, a masterpiece of light and color that was changing with every passing second. The nun spoke softly. "No one expects the sunset to hold still. Its beauty is in its vanishing. It does not worry about whether tonight's sunset is as beautiful as last night's. It simply is." She then looked at Mara with profound kindness. "You are not the weaver," she said. "You are the loom. Life is the weaver. Joy, fear, inspiration, and emptiness are all just threads of different colors. You have been trying to control the threads, to weave only with the threads of gold. But a tapestry with only one color has no depth. Your problem is not that you are afraid. The problem is that you believe you should not be." Mara felt the truth of these words settle deep within her bones. The tension in her shoulders began to release. She realized that the racing mind was trying to build a dam in the middle of a flowing river. The pressure she felt was the water pushing against the wall she had built. The solution was not to build a stronger wall, but to remove the stones. You, listening to this now, are often like Mara. You believe you must control the threads of your thoughts. You believe that if you think hard enough, you can solve the puzzle of your life before you sleep. But the wisdom of the sunset teaches us otherwise. You are the space through which these things move. You are the loom, sturdy and still. The thoughts are merely the colored threads passing through. The nun's lesson offers a radical invitation. Stop building the dam. Stop trying to weave only the golden threads of happiness and success. Allow the darker threads of fatigue, uncertainty, and neutrality to be part of the fabric. When you stop resisting the presence of these thoughts, they lose their friction. They pass through the loom without getting tangible knots. As Mara walked back down the mountain under a sky full of stars, she did not try to force her mind to be silent. She simply allowed the silence of the mountain to exist alongside her thoughts. The next morning she wove a tapestry that was not perfect, but it was honest. It contained the colors of her fear and the texture of her anxiety, alongside the purple of the sunset and the silver of the starlight. In the act of weaving her whole self, she found her freedom. Tonight, you release the need to label this moment. You release the identity of the worrier or the planner. You observe the monkey jumping from branch to branch, but you do not follow it. You stay at the base of the tree. You watch the sunset of your day without trying to hold it still. The mind creates the friction, but the awareness dissolves it. You are beginning to see the space between the thoughts. It is a small gap, barely noticeable at first. But what you do not yet realize is that this small space is the seed of the deep sleep that awaits you. To widen this space, we must move from the story of the mind to the reality of the body. We must find something that does not judge, something that does not plan, something that simply returns over and over again. We must find the anchor. What you do not yet realize is that this anchor is already moving within you, waiting to be noticed, holding the key to the absolute stillness of the night. The journey into deep rest begins not by forcing the mind to stop, but by understanding why it moves. You are lying in a room that is safe. The temperature is controlled. The shadows are still. Yet, internally, there is a sensation of motion. This is not a malfunction of your brain. It is an ancient biological rhythm that has kept your ancestors alive for thousands of years. The Buddha described this state with a precise and evocative term, capicita, or the monkey mind. Imagine a vast, dense canopy of green, high above the jungle floor. A monkey does not move in straight lines. It swings. It grabs a branch, tests its weight, and before it has even fully settled, it reaches for the next. It is a state of constant propulsion. It does not look back at the branch it just left, and it does not stay on the branch it is holding. Its entire existence is projected forward to the next handhold. This is the default mode of the human consciousness when it is untrained. It is a survival mechanism designed to scan for threats, to solve problems, and to ensure that the future is secure. In the daylight, this mechanism builds cities and solves equations. But in the quiet of the night, when there are no physical branches to grab, no emails to answer, no tasks to complete, the monkey does not stop. It begins to grab at ghosts. It reaches for a conversation from 3 years ago. It grabs a worry about a meeting that is 2 weeks away. It clutches at the concept of sleep itself, turning the desire for rest into a task to be achieved. This creates what the ancient texts call dukkha. While often translated as suffering, a more accurate and visceral translation for the modern sleeper is friction. It is the subtle, pervasive sense of unsatisfactoriness. It is the feeling of a wheel that is slightly out of alignment, creating a rhythmic bump with every rotation. It is the stress you feel when you resist the natural flow of the present moment. You feel the friction when you cling to the idea that you should be asleep by now. You feel it when you push away the thoughts that arise, treating them as intruders rather than visitors. This friction is not a punishment. It is simply energy that has no place to go. When you fight the monkey mind, when you try to chain the monkey to a single branch, it panics. The chatter becomes louder. The thoughts become more insistent. The strategy of the wise is not to fight the monkey, but to change your relationship to the forest. You begin this shift by adopting the perspective of a scientist, observing a strange weather pattern. When a scientist sees a storm on radar, they do not get angry at the storm. They do not take the rain personally. They simply note its presence. They say, "There is high pressure here, there is wind here." They observe the phenomenon without becoming the phenomenon. Tonight, you practice this separation. A thought arises, perhaps a worry about tomorrow's schedule. The untrained mind says, "I am worried." It identifies completely with the emotion. The wise mind, the mind that is preparing for sleep, shifts the language. It says, "There is worry." It acknowledges the presence of the energy without claiming ownership of it. You watch the monkey grab the branch of tomorrow. You see it swing, but you remain on the ground, rooted in the soil, watching the movement high above in the canopy. This simple act of naming and observing creates a space of awareness. In that space, the friction begins to cool. You realize that you are not the thought. You are the space in which the thought is occurring. You are not the monkey, you are the forest. The forest does not judge the monkey for jumping. It simply holds the space for the movement to happen. As you observe without engagement, the monkey eventually tires. When it realizes that no one is fighting back, that no one is shaking the tree, it slows down. The swings become less frantic. The pauses between the movements become longer. You are learning to treat your thoughts like passing clouds in a vast sky. Some clouds are dark and heavy, others are light and wispy, but the sky is never damaged by the clouds. It is never stained by the storm. It remains vast, open, and untouched. By resting in this awareness, you step out of the stream of traffic and stand on the bank. You watch the river of thoughts flow by, leaves, twigs, debris, but you do not dive in to retrieve them. You let them float downstream, carried by a current that is not yours to control. This is the first step of the hero's journey into sleep, the departure from the world of engagement. You are leaving the role of the fixer, the doer, and the thinker. You are entering the realm of the witness. The friction eases, the wheel aligns, and in the newfound silence between the chatter, you begin to sense a deeper stability waiting to receive you. As the mental noise quiets, you prepare to discover the physical anchor that has been with you since your first moment, the rhythmic tide that will carry you into the deep ocean of rest. Having stepped back from the chaos of the monkey mind, you now require a place to rest your attention. You need a single point of focus, a pole star in the turning sky of the night. This brings us to the foundational practice of anapanasati, or mindfulness of breathing. This is not a breathing exercise designed to change your rhythm. It is not a technique to force relaxation. It is an act of pure, unadulterated observation of the most constant reality of your life. Consider the image of a master archer. In the ancient traditions, the archer is a symbol of absolute presence. The crowd around her is murmuring. The wind is blowing across the field. Memories of past misses tug at the edge of her mind. Yet, to succeed, she must withdraw her attention from the periphery and gather it into a single, razor-sharp point. Her breath must be deep and steady. Her body must be relaxed yet firm. In the moment before release, there is no past, no future, no crowd. There is only the target and the arrow. Tonight, you are the archer, but your target is not outside of you. Your target is the sensation of the breath itself. Most of the time, our mental energy is scattered, dispersed like light through a prism into 1,000 different directions. Plans, regrets, fantasies, fears. Anapana is the lens that gathers this scattered light back into a single coherent beam. Bring your attention to the physical sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. You do not need to deepen the breath. You do not need to slow it down. Your body knows how to breathe. It has done so while you were distracted, while you were working, and while you were sleeping every night of your life. It does not need your management. It needs your company. Locate the breath in the body. For some, it is clearest at the tip of the nostrils. There, the sensation is subtle and refined. You feel the cool, dry air entering on the inhale, brushing against the sensitive skin. You feel the slightly warmer, moister air releasing on the exhale. It is a constant, rhythmic exchange with the atmosphere. You are breathing in the world and breathing out yourself. For others, the anchor is found in the abdomen. Place your awareness on the gentle rise and fall of the belly. It is like a boat riding a gentle swell in a calm harbor. The navel rises, expanding with life. The navel falls, releasing toward the spine, rising and falling, rising and falling. This movement is the most fundamental rhythm of existence. It is the tide of your own inner ocean. As you rest your attention here, you will notice the mind wandering. The monkey will try to grab a branch. It will offer you a distraction. This is boring, or my leg itches, or I forgot to lock the door. This is not a failure. This is the practice. The moment you notice you have drifted is a moment of profound success. It is the moment the sleeper wakes up. With infinite patience, with the kindness you would show a small child who has wandered off the path, you gently escort your attention back to the breath. You do not scold the mind. You do not analyze where it went. You simply return. Thinking, you whisper gently to yourself, and then you return to the sensation, the cool air at the nostrils, the rise of the belly. Deepen your observation. Become a scientist of the breath. Notice the texture of the inhalation. Is it smooth or is it jagged? Is it long or is it short? Notice the pause at the top of the inhale, that tiny microsecond of suspension where the lungs are full and life is held in stasis. Notice the release of the exhalation, the feeling of the muscles softening, the ribs settling, and then notice the most profound moment of all. The pause at the bottom of the exhale. The breath has left the body. The next breath has not yet begun. In that tiny, empty gap, there is absolute stillness. There is no doing. There is no effort. There is only a quiet, empty waiting. This gap is a window into the state of deep sleep. It is a place of zero friction. By anchoring yourself in the breath, you are tethering your boat to the dock. The waves of thought may still slap against the hull. The wind of emotion may still blow, but the boat does not drift out to sea. It rises and falls, held safe by the line of awareness. You are gathering your scattered energy. You are calling your spirit back from the office, back from the past, back from the future, and placing it right here in the center of the chest, in the center of the moment. The breath is the bridge between the mind and the body. When the mind is racing, the breath is short and shallow. When the breath becomes the focus, it naturally lengthens and smooths out, sending a signal to the nervous system that the danger is over. The tiger is not in the room. The hunt is finished. It is time to rest. As the breath becomes a steady rhythm, you begin to cultivate a quality of mind that can face any event, good or bad, with the unshakable stability of an ancient phare. As the breath settles into a rhythm of rising and falling, the mind begins to access a deeper level of wisdom. We move from the technique of observation to the philosophy of neutrality. We learn to release the judgment we place on our thoughts and our wakefulness. To understand this, we walk the path of an ancient story, a parable that has traveled through centuries of Taoist and Buddhist tradition to find you tonight. Imagine a small village in the northern provinces, a landscape of rolling hills and wide, open skies. In this village lived an old farmer. He was poor, owning nothing but a small plot of land and a single horse. This horse was his pride, a magnificent creature with a coat like polished chestnut and legs built for speed. The villagers often stopped to admire the animal, telling the farmer, "You are so lucky to have such a fine horse." The farmer, a man of few words and deep, weathered eyes, would simply look at them and say, "Maybe." One morning, the farmer awoke to find the stable door open. The horse was gone. It had broken free and galloped off into the wild mountains bordering the village. The neighbors came running, their faces filled with pity. "Oh, what terrible misfortune," they cried. "Your only horse is gone. How will you work the fields? This is a disaster." The farmer stood quietly by the empty stable, his hands resting on the rough wood. He looked at his neighbors and said, "Maybe." A week passed. The sun rose and set over the empty fields. Then, one evening, a thunder of hooves was heard approaching from the mountains. The farmer's horse returned, but it was not alone. It had brought with it a dozen wild horses, strong and spirited. The villagers gathered again, their eyes wide with envy and amazement. "What incredible luck!" they cheered. "You lost one horse and now you have 13. You are the richest man in the village." The farmer looked at the swirling dust and the wild manes. He felt the excitement of the village, but he did not drink from it. He simply said, "Maybe." The farmer's son, a strong young man, began the work of taming the wild horses. He worked from dawn until dusk, but one afternoon, a particularly wild stallion threw him to the ground. The son's leg was shattered. It was a severe injury, one that would leave him with a limp for life. The neighbors arrived once more, shaking their heads in sorrow. "What a tragedy," they lamented. "Your son is crippled. He was your help in the fields. Now you are ruined." The farmer looked at his son, resting by the fire. He felt the weight of the event, but he did not add the weight of a story to it. He said, "Maybe." A few weeks later, the empire went to war. The army marched through the village, conscripting every able-bodied young man to fight in a conflict from which few would return. The village was filled with the sound of weeping parents, but when the soldiers came to the farmer's house, they saw the son's broken leg. He was useless to them. They passed him by. The neighbors whose sons had been taken looked at the farmer with tears in their eyes. "You are so lucky," they whispered. "Your son was spared." And the farmer, resting in the vast uncertainty of life, said, "Maybe." This story is the loom upon which you can weave a new relationship with your racing mind. Tonight, you are the farmer. The events of your life, the worries, the triumphs, the wakefulness, are the horses coming and going. The monkey mind wants to label everything. It says being awake right now is bad. It says that email I sent was a disaster. It says if I don't sleep, tomorrow will be a tragedy. The wisdom of the farmer asks you to drop the label. When the thought comes that says, "I am still awake, this is terrible," you answer with the quiet authority of the farmer, "Maybe." You neutralize the friction. You acknowledge the event. The horse is gone or the sleep is delayed, but you refuse to attach a catastrophic story to it. You release the need to judge this moment as good or bad. It is simply what is happening. By stepping back into this neutrality, you stop feeding the energy of the event. You stop whipping the wild horses of your thoughts. You allow them to run in the corral of your mind without trying to break them. This perspective shifts you from a participant in the drama to a witness of the flow. You realize that you cannot see the end of the story. You do not know if this sleepless hour is a curse or if it is providing you with a necessary moment of stillness and insight that you would have otherwise missed. You do not know the connection between this moment and the next, so you rest in the maybe. You rest in the not knowing. The tension in the body comes from the certainty that things are going wrong. When you embrace the uncertainty, the tension dissolves. The farmer does not fight the events. He flows with them. Tonight, you flow. You let the horses come and you let the horses go. You remain standing by the gate, steady, calm, and breathing. Having learned to stop judging the events, you are now ready to understand the difference between the pain of the arrow and the suffering of the wound. We move deeper now into the mechanics of why we suffer, exploring a teaching directly from the Salatha Sutta, the discourse on the arrow. The Buddha, speaking to a group of monks, posed a question. When an uninstructed person experiences pain, they sorrow, grieve, and lament. When a wise person experiences pain, they do not. What is the difference? He then offered the analogy of the two arrows. Imagine you are walking through a forest and you are struck by an arrow. This is a physical event. It causes immediate sharp pain. This is the nature of having a body. It is sensitive. It is vulnerable. This is the first arrow. It represents the unavoidable discomforts of life, a headache, a cold room, a difficult conversation, or the simple physical sensation of being unable to sleep. The first arrow is not your fault. It is not a failure. It is simply reality presenting itself. But for the untrained mind, the process does not stop there. Immediately upon being struck, the mind reacts. It begins to tell a story about the pain. Why did this happen to me? This is unfair. I can't handle this. This will never end. In doing so, we pick up a second arrow and plunge it into the open wound of the first. This second arrow is optional. It is entirely self-inflicted. The first arrow is the pain. The second arrow is the suffering. The first arrow is the fact that you are awake at 2 a.m. The sensation is perhaps a heaviness in the eyes or a restlessness in the legs. That is manageable. That is just sensation. The second arrow is the narrative. I will be exhausted tomorrow. I will fail at my presentation. I am broken because I cannot sleep. The wise sleeper learns to distinguish between the two. You feel the pillow against your cheek. You feel the temperature of the room. Perhaps you feel a tightness in the chest. That is the first arrow. You acknowledge it. Tightness is here. But you stop there. You do not pick up the second arrow. You do not add the layer of mental anguish to the layer of physical sensation. Think of the earlier image of building a dam in a flowing river. The first arrow is the water flowing. It is just the movement of life. The second arrow is the dam, the resistance, the no, the refusal to accept the water. The pressure you feel is not the water itself. It is the force of the water crashing against your resistance. When you remove the dam, the water flows through. It may still be cold, it may still be fast, but it no longer builds up pressure. Consider the metaphor of holding a burning coal. If someone hands you a hot coal, the heat is the first arrow. It hurts. But the second arrow is the choice to keep your hand closed tight around it. The second arrow is the clenching. The wisdom of this chapter invites you to open your hand. You cannot always control whether the coal lands in your palm. Life will bring stress, life will bring wakefulness, but you can choose not to squeeze it. Tonight, you perform a scan of your experience. Where are you shooting the second arrow? Is it in your jaw, clenched tight against the silence? Is it in your forehead, furrowed with the effort of trying to force sleep? Is it in the narrative loop playing in your mind? Visualize yourself slowly lowering the bow. You feel the sensation of the moment, the first arrow, and you bow to it. You accept it. This is what is present. By refusing to fire the second arrow, you cut the feedback loop of anxiety. Pain without the story of pain is just energy. It vibrates, it changes, and eventually it dissolves. Suffering requires a story to sustain it. Without the story, the suffering has no fuel. You are entering a state of radical acceptance. You are not resigned. You are strategic. You understand that you cannot fight the first arrow, so you save your energy by not creating the second. You feel the pillow. You feel the breath. You feel the sensations of the body, and you leave it at that. Simple, direct, without commentary. This subtraction of the narrative creates a profound sense of relief. The burden of the self who is struggling to sleep begins to lighten. You are stripping away the unnecessary layers, leaving only the raw, honest experience of the moment. And in this honesty, there is peace. The struggle ends not because you won, but because you dropped the weapon. As you lay down the second arrow, you begin to notice that the river of your thoughts is changing, revealing that no man ever steps in the same river twice. You are standing on the bank of a vast, ancient river. The water is wide and deep, moving with a strength that is both terrifying and comforting. The surface is not smooth. It is a tapestry of currents, eddies, and swirls. This is the river of Anika, the Pali word for impermanence. It is the fundamental law of the universe, the truth that nothing, absolutely nothing, remains the same for 2 consecutive moments. In the West, a philosopher named Heraclitus stood by a similar river and observed a profound truth. No man ever steps in the same river twice. This is because it is not the same river. The water has flowed on, replaced by new water from the mountains. And it is not the same man. He has aged, he has changed, his cells have regenerated, his mind has shifted. Tonight, you bring this realization into the sanctuary of your bedroom. The monkey mind suffers because it tries to freeze the river. It tries to hold on to a pleasant moment, fearing it will end. It tries to push away an unpleasant thought, fearing it will last forever. But the river does not freeze. To try to hold a cup of water in the middle of a rushing current is to fight the nature of the water itself. Observe the thoughts passing through your mind right now. Perhaps there is a thought of tomorrow's obligations. Notice it. Now look closer. Is it a solid block of stone? No, it is fluid. It arises, it swells, it crests, and if you do not grab it, it flows downstream, replaced by the next thought. The sensation in your leg, the urge to move, is also a current. It pulses, it shifts, it fades. The tension you feel in your body comes from the attempt to stand still in a moving stream. You are bracing your legs against the current, trying to stop the flow of time, trying to solve the puzzle of your life before the sun rises. But the river cannot be stopped. It can only be navigated, and the only way to navigate this river is to float. To float is to surrender to the law of anicca. It is to accept that this moment, right now, is fleeting. The frustration of being awake is fleeting. The silence of the room is fleeting. Even the breath you are taking right now is a testament to impermanence. You inhale, you cannot hold it. You must exhale. You must let it go to survive. Imagine yourself lying back into this river. The water is warm, buoyant, and supportive. You lift your feet off the bottom. You stop bracing against the current. You allow the river to take you. You watch the scenery of your thoughts pass by on the banks. There goes a memory. There goes a worry. There goes a plan. They are on the shore. You are in the center of the stream, carried by a force much larger than your own will. This teaching removes the weight of permanence from your shoulders. You do not need to fix your mind because your mind is not a static object to be repaired. It is a process. It is a flow. If you feel restless, wait. The river moves. The restlessness will change into fatigue. The fatigue will change into heaviness. The heaviness will change into sleep. You are aligning yourself with the rhythm of the cosmos. Stars are born and die. Seasons turn. Tides rise and fall. Cells divide and replace. You are not separate from this dance. By accepting anicca, you accept that you are a creature of change. You release the rigid demand for stability and find safety in the flow. You are safe because you are moving. You are at peace because you are not holding on. The water supports you. The current is not your enemy. It is your vehicle. It carries you away from the shores of the day, deeper into the dark, quiet ocean of the night. You drift. You flow. You trust the change. As you drift down this river, a shape emerges in the mist, a boat drifting toward you, carrying a lesson about the source of your anger. As you float down the river of your consciousness, the mist begins to rise. It is a soft, white fog that obscures the banks, wrapping you in a cocoon of silence. You are drifting peacefully, your eyes half closed, the rhythm of the water lulling you deeper into relaxation. Suddenly, you feel a bump. Something has struck your vessel. A wooden boat has emerged from the fog and collided with yours. In that split second of impact, a reaction flares up within you. The monkey mind instantly wakes up. It shouts, "Watch where you're going! Who is steering that boat? Why are they so careless?" You feel the heat of anger rising in your chest. You feel the tightening of the jaw. You are ready to shout, to blame, to demand an apology for disturbing your peace. But then you look closer. You peer through the mist into the other boat. It is empty. There is no one steering. There is no careless captain. There is no malicious enemy. It is simply an empty boat, drifting on the current, blown by the wind. In an instant, your anger vanishes. The fire in your chest extinguishes immediately. There is no one to yell at. There is no one to blame. The collision was just physics. Wood meeting wood. Current meeting current. You simply reach out your hand, gently push the empty boat away, and steer your own vessel around it. This is the parable of the empty boat, a meeting point of Taoist and Buddhist wisdom. It reveals a profound secret about your racing mind. The anger and the stress do not come from the event itself. They come from your belief that there is someone inside the boat doing this to you on purpose. Tonight, consider the thoughts that collide with your peace, the worry about a relationship, the stress about a deadline, the memory of an awkward conversation. These thoughts bump against you in the night. Your instinct is to react as if there is a captain steering them. You think, why is my brain doing this to me? Why is this person causing me stress? Why is the world blocking my path? But the wisdom of the empty boat tells you the truth. These thoughts are empty vessels. They are not personal attacks. They are not malicious entities. They are simply phenomena drifting on the lake of the mind, propelled by the winds of cause and effect. The thought about work is not trying to hurt you. It is just a drifting log of memory. The sound of the wind outside is not trying to keep you awake. It is just air moving through space. When you realize the boat is empty, you stop arguing with reality. You stop demanding an apology from the universe. You realize that the friction you feel is the result of expecting the world to steer around you. But the world is wild. It steers itself. Apply this to the people in your life who may be the source of your overthinking tonight. The person who was rude to you in traffic. The colleague who dismissed your idea. See them not as villains plotting against your happiness, but as people caught in their own currents, drifting in their own fog, often unconscious of their impact. They are, in many ways, empty boats, driven by their own conditioning, their own fears, their own unfinished business. This realization brings a cool, soothing balm to the mind. You do not need to forgive them because they deserve it. You forgive them because you understand the mechanics of the collision. You see that there is no solid self directing the traffic, only a complex web of interactions. You are lying in your bed. A thought bumps into you. You look at it. You see it is empty. You do not shout. You do not fight. You gently push it aside with the oar of your awareness. You navigate around it. You return to the center of the stream. The mist clears slightly. The water calms. You are moving past the obstacles not by destroying them, but by understanding their nature. You are the captain of your own peace, sailing through a fleet of phantom ships, untouched, unbothered, and drifting ever closer to the harbor of sleep. As you push the empty boat away, you notice something you have been gripping in your hand without realizing it, a source of heat that you mistook for power. Your hand is clenched. Perhaps not physically, though you should check your fists, your jaw, your toes, but mentally. You are holding on to something tight. It might be a resentment from earlier today. It might be a desire for things to be different than they are. It might be the sheer, stubborn refusal to accept that you are awake. In the Buddhist tradition, holding on to anger or resentment is compared to picking up a burning coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else. You want to punish the person who wronged you. You want to throw your frustration at the situation. But look at the physics of the act. Who is getting burned? The person you are angry at is asleep in their own bed or living their life, completely unaware of your internal state. The situation you are frustrated with is inanimate and unfeeling. You are the one holding the coal. You are the one feeling the heat. The searing pain of the stress is burning your own skin, scarring your own peace. Tonight, we examine the anatomy of holding on. We often believe that holding on to worry is a form of control. We think, if I worry about this problem enough, I will solve it. We believe that gripping the coal gives us power, but the coal is only consuming your energy. It is turning your vital force into smoke. The invitation now is to understand the mechanics of letting go. Letting go is often misunderstood as a passive act of defeat, but it is not weakness, it is a biological release. Visualize your hand holding that glowing red-hot ember. Feel the tension in the tendons of your forearm. Feel the heat radiating up your arm. Now consider this. To drop the coal, you do not need to do anything forceful. You do not need to throw it down. You simply need to stop doing the work of holding it. Letting go is the cessation of effort. It is the subtraction of tension. Slowly, in your mind's eye, watch your fingers uncurl, one by one. The pinky finger relaxes, the ring finger softens, the middle finger releases, the index finger lets go. The thumb creates space, gravity takes over, the coal falls. It tumbles away from you, landing harmlessly on the cold earth, where it fizzles out and turns to ash. Notice the sensation in your hand now. The heat dissipates. The cool air touches the palm. The blood flows freely again into the fingertips. This is the sensation of forgiveness. Forgiveness is not saying that what happened was okay. Forgiveness is saying, I refuse to burn myself over this any longer. Apply this to your body in the bed. Scan for the coals you are holding. Are you holding a coal of anxiety in your stomach? Let the muscles of the abdomen soften. Let the coal fall through you, deep into the mattress, deep into the earth. Are you holding a coal of planning in your forehead? Smooth the brow. Widen the space between the eyes. Let the thought drop. Are you holding a coal of urgency in your heart? Let the breath cool it. There is no urgency here. The night is long. The world will wait. You are not solving the problem by holding the coal. You are only exhausting the hand that needs to rest. By releasing it, you are preserving your strength for when the sun rises. You are choosing self-compassion over self-punishment. The heat fades. The cool darkness of the night wraps around you like a bandage, soothing the burns, quieting the nerves. You are empty-handed now, and because your hands are empty, they are open to receive the gift of rest. Your hands are free, but as you walk further into the night, you realize there is still a weight on your shoulders, a burden you have been carrying for miles without knowing why. You are walking along a muddy road in the rain. This is the setting for one of the most famous stories in the Zen tradition, a story about the weight of the past and the illusion of burden. Two monks, Tanzen and Aikido, were traveling together. The rain was heavy, turning the dirt road into a river of sludge. They came to a crossing where the water was deep and the mud was thick. Standing at the edge, looking distressed, was a lovely young woman in a fine silk kimono. She was unable to cross without ruining her clothes, and she stood frozen, looking at the dirty water. Monks in this tradition were strictly forbidden from touching women. It was a rule of their order, a vow of celibacy and distance. Aikido, the younger monk, looked at the woman and then looked away, adhering rigidly to his code. He walked across the mud, keeping his robes hiked up, leaving her behind. But Tanzen, the older monk, did not hesitate. He walked up to the woman, bowed slightly, and said, "Come on, girl." He lifted her in his arms, carried her through the mud and the water, and set her gently down on the dry ground on the other side. She bowed in thanks, and he bowed in return. Then the two monks continued their journey in silence. The silence, however, was not peaceful. It was heavy. Aikido was seething. He could not believe what he had seen. His mind was racing with judgment. How could he do that? He broke the rules. He touched her. He has disgraced us. The thoughts spun in his head like a cyclone. They walked for miles. The rain stopped. The sun began to set. Finally, unable to hold it in any longer, Ekido turned to Tanzan and burst out, "We monks are not supposed to go near females, especially young and lovely ones. It is dangerous. Why did you do that?" Tanzan looked at his companion with a look of mild surprise. He smiled gently and said, "I left the girl back there at the crossing. Are you still carrying her?" This question cuts through the noise of the overthinking mind like a diamond blade. Tanzan carried the woman for 1 minute. Ekido carried her for 4 hours. Tanzan carried her physically, a burden of weight and mud. Ekido carried her mentally, a burden of judgment and resentment. Which burden was heavier? Which burden caused more suffering? Tonight, as you lie in bed, you must ask yourself, what are you still carrying? Did you have a difficult interaction at 8 a.m. this morning? The event lasted 5 minutes. It is now 14 hours later. The interaction is over. The person is gone. The sound waves of the voices have dissipated into the atmosphere. But are you still carrying it? Are you replaying the tape, refining your comeback, analyzing the tone? If you are Ekido. You are trudging through the mud of your own mind, bearing the weight of a ghost. The wisdom of Tanzan invites you to set the sack down. The event is finished. It does not exist in this room. In this room, there is only the soft sheet, the pillow, and the darkness. There is no mud here. There is no woman. There is no broken rule. Feel the weight of the day on your shoulders. Visualize it as a heavy burlap sack filled with stones. The stones of conversations, the stones of emails, the stones of news. You have carried this sack uphill all day. You have been strong, you have been responsible, but the journey is paused. You have reached the inn of sleep. Shrug your shoulders. Physically lift them to your ears, and then drop them. Feel the sack slide off your back. Hear the thud as it hits the floor. You do not need to carry it into the dream world. It will be there in the morning if you choose to pick it up again. But for now, you are free of it. You are light. The spine decompresses. The neck lengthens. You realize that the heaviness you felt was not the weight of the world, but the weight of your memory of the world. By putting it down, you return to the present moment, where nothing is wrong and nothing is heavy. You are simply here, unburdened, ready to cross the threshold into the deep silence of the self. The burden is gone, but a question remains in the quiet air. If you are not the one carrying the burden, then who are you really? Who is the I that wants to sleep? You have set down the heavy sack of the past. You have watched the empty boats drift by in the fog. You have opened your hand to release the burning coal, and yet a whisper may still remain in the quiet of the room. It is a persistent internal narrator that says, "I am still awake. I am trying to sleep. I need to rest." This voice believes it is the commander of your ship. It believes it is the manager of your nervous system, the owner of your thoughts, and the victim of your insomnia. But tonight, we ask the most radical question of all, a question that dissolves the very foundation of the struggle. Who is this I that is so worried about sleeping? In the ancient Pali language, the word is anatta, which translates to no self or not self. This is not a denial of your existence. You are here. You are breathing. You are alive. It is instead a denial of the solid existence of the worrier. The Buddha invited us to look for this solid, separate self, this controller, to see if we can actually find him or her. Let us conduct a gentle investigation in the laboratory of your own body, right here in the safety of your bed. We will look for the I who claims to be tired. Bring your attention to your left hand resting on the mattress. You feel the warmth of the skin. You feel the weight of the bones. You feel the slight tingle of circulation. Is that hand you? If you lost the use of that hand, would you cease to exist? No. you would still be you. The hand is just a part. It is form. It is biology. It is not the self. Move your attention to your memories. Think of a memory from childhood, perhaps the smell of rain on hot asphalt or the sound of a parent's voice. That memory arises. It plays across the screen of your mind, and then it fades. Is that memory you? If you forgot it, would you disappear? No. The memory is just a file, a recording stored in the neurons. It is perception. It is not the self. Move your attention to the feeling of frustration or restlessness that may have visited you earlier tonight. That feeling came like a wave. It swelled, it crested, and now it is receding. Is that feeling you? When the feeling passes and is replaced by calm, do you become a different person? No. The feeling is just weather. It is sensation. It is not the self. Now look at the thoughts themselves. The voice that says, "I must sleep." Look at that voice closely. Where is it located? Is it in the center of the head? Is it behind the eyes? If you look for the speaker, you will find something profound. There is no one there. There is no little person sitting in a control room behind your forehead pulling levers. There are only thoughts arising and passing away, one after another, like bubbles rising in a glass of water. The I that you think is carrying the burden of wakefulness is not a solid entity. It is a process. It is a flowing river of changing elements, breath, sensation, memory, thought. The burden of trying to sleep is heavy only because you believe there is someone who needs to carry it. But if there is no carrier, there is no weight. Imagine a house with the lights on. From the outside, it looks like someone is home. But when you walk inside, you realize the house is empty. The lights are on, the air conditioning is humming, the curtains are blowing in the breeze, but there is no owner. The house functions perfectly well without an owner. The breath comes and goes without an owner. The heart beats without a manager. The body falls asleep without a pilot. This realization is the ultimate relaxation. You do not need to do sleep. You do not need to make yourself relax. Who would be the one doing the making? The I is just an extra layer of tension, a tightening of the mind around the experience. When you realize anatta, you realize that sleep is not something you do. Sleep is something that happens to the organism when the you gets out of the way. It is a biological tide that rises when the resistance falls. The worrier is a phantom. The insomniac is a ghost story the mind tells itself. Lie back into the truth of being a process. You are a collection of biological rhythms synchronizing with the rotation of the earth. You are a field of energy settling into a lower frequency. There is no one who needs to succeed at this. There is no one who can fail at this. There is just the body heavy and warm. There is just the breath slow and deep. There is just the darkness soft and welcoming. The burden falls away because the bearer of the burden has dissolved into the mist. You are not a noun. You are a verb. You are not a statue. You are a stream. And streams do not struggle to flow. They simply surrender to gravity. Allow yourself to be liquid tonight. Allow the boundaries of the self to soften and blur until you cannot tell where you end and the sleep begins. As the illusion of the separate self fades, you are ready to enter the village of the human heart, to discover that the grief and the noise you feel are not yours alone, but a shared thread in a vast tapestry. You are walking through a village at twilight. The air is cool and smells of wood smoke and damp earth. Lanterns are beginning to flicker in the windows of the small houses that line the dirt road. This is the setting for the story of Kisa Gotami, a story that heals the isolation of the overthinking mind by connecting it to the universal human experience. Kisa Gotami was a woman who had suffered a profound loss. In her grief, her mind became a storm of refusal. She could not accept the reality of change. She could not accept that what she loved had been taken from her. Her mind raced, just as yours might race, looking for a solution to an impossible problem, looking for a way to reverse time, looking for a way to fix the unfixable. She went to the Buddha, pleading for medicine that would cure her grief and restore her world to how it was. The Buddha looked at her with infinite compassion. He did not give her a lecture on metaphysics. He did not tell her to calm down. He gave her a task, a mission that would lead her to her own wisdom. "I can help you," he said softly, "but first I need a special ingredient for the medicine. You must bring me a single mustard seed." Kisa Gotami's heart leapt. A mustard seed was a common item. Every kitchen in every house in the village had a jar of them. It seemed so simple. "I will get it right away," she said. "But," the Buddha added, raising a hand gently, "the mustard seed must come from a house where no one has lost a loved one, where no suffering has ever entered, where no trouble has ever knocked on the door." Kisa Gotami ran to the first house in the village. She knocked on the heavy wooden door. A kind old man opened it. "Do you have a mustard seed?" she asked breathlessly. "Yes, of course," he replied, turning to fetch it. "Wait," she said. "Has anyone died in this house? Has sorrow ever visited this family?" The old man stopped. His face softened into a map of lines and memories. "Oh, my dear," he said quietly, "the living are few, but the dead are many. My parents died here. My wife died here just last winter. There is no mustard seed here that fits your request." Kisa Gotami thanked him and went to the next house. She met a young mother bouncing a baby on her hip. "Do you have a mustard seed from a house untouched by trouble?" she asked. The mother smiled a sad, knowing smile. "I have the seed," she said, "but we lost my brother to the war and my father to the sickness. Sorrow sits by our fire just as joy does." She went to the third house and the fourth. She went to the wealthy merchant's mansion with its silk curtains. She went to the poorest hut with its thatched roof. She went to the baker, the potter, and the weaver. At every door the answer was the same. "We have suffered loss. We have known fear. We have spent nights awake with worry. We have buried our dead." The sun began to set. The shadows lengthened. Kisa Gotami stood at the edge of the village, looking at the flickering lights of the homes. She had no mustard seed, but she had something far more precious. She had the realization that she was not alone. Her grief, which had felt like a solitary confinement, a private torture chamber designed only for her, suddenly opened up. She saw that her pain was woven into the very fabric of human existence. It was not a punishment directed at her. It was the nature of life itself. The friction she felt, the loss she fought, was the shared song of the village. Tonight, as you lie in the dark, the monkey mind often tells you that you are the only one awake. It whispers that everyone else in the world is sleeping peacefully, that everyone else has it figured out, and that you are broken, defective, alone in your struggle. This isolation is the amplifier of suffering. The story of the mustard seed invites you to walk through the village of humanity in your mind. Imagine knocking on the doors of your neighbors, of your co-workers, of the strangers you pass on the street. If you could see into the secret history of their hearts, what would you find? You would find the same 3 a.m. worries. You would find the same insecurities. You would find the same griefs, the same heartbreaks, the same racing thoughts. You are lying in a bed, but you are floating in a vast ocean of shared experience. Millions of people are awake right now, breathing with you, looking at the ceiling with you, navigating the same currents of the mind. You are part of a vast, silent community of souls seeking rest. This realization dissolves the sharp edges of the ego. The poor me story transforms into a we story. The burden is shared. The weight is distributed across the shoulders of all humanity. You are not failing at sleep. You are experiencing a moment of being human. Kisagotami returned to the Buddha empty-handed, but her heart was full of peace. She had stopped fighting the reality of loss and had started accepting the reality of connection. She found rest not by fixing her problem, but by realizing it wasn't just her problem. Let the walls of your isolation come down tonight. Feel the presence of the millions of others who are breathing in this same night air. Send a quiet wish of peace to them, and in doing so, feel the peace return to you. You are held in the great web of life, where sorrow and sleep, waking and dreaming, are tides that wash over us all. You are safe in the village. As the sense of isolation lifts, you become aware of how the tension has hidden itself in the smallest muscles of your body, specifically in the hands that are still trying to hold on. The mind and the body are mirrors of each other. When the mind is racing, tight with the need to control the future, the body mimics this tension. It creates a physical shape that matches the mental shape, and the shape of the overthinking mind is the fist. Imagine a monkey trap used in ancient times. It was a simple device, a coconut with a small hole carved into it, just large enough for a monkey's open hand to slide through. Inside the coconut, the hunter placed a sweet fruit or a lump of sugar. The monkey, smelling the prize, would slide its hand in and grab the treat. But once it made a fist around the object, its hand became too large to pull back out of the hole. The monkey was trapped. Not by the coconut, not by a rope, and not by a cage. It was trapped by its own refusal to let go. All it had to do to be free was to open its hand. But the instinct to hold on, the desire for the prize, was so strong that it would stay there, fist clenched, until the hunter arrived. You, my friend, are often the monkey. The prize you are holding on to is the thought you think you need to solve. It is the replay of the argument. It is the plan for tomorrow. You believe that if you hold on to it tight enough, you will extract some sweetness, some resolution, some safety from it. But all you are doing is trapping yourself in the state of wakefulness. Tonight, we will practice the somatic art of opening the hand. We will use the body to teach the mind how to let go. Bring your full awareness to your right hand. Often, even when we think we are relaxed, there is a micro-tension in the fingers, a subtle curling of the palm. This is the residual energy of the day's doing. It is the physical memory of steering wheels, computer mice, phones, and tools. It is the biological posture of grasping. Visualize the anatomy of your hand. See the tendons running from the wrist to the fingertips. See the intricate network of bones. Now, very slowly, begin the process of unraveling the fist. This is not a sudden movement. It is a glacial melting of tension. Start with the thumb. It is the digit of opposition, of gripping. Consciously send a signal of softness to the base of the thumb. Feel the muscle there, often thick and tight, begin to spread like warm butter. Let the thumb drift away from the palm. Let it fall toward the mattress, heavy and useless. Move to the index finger, the finger of pointing, of accusation, of direction. You do not need to point the way tonight. There is nowhere to go. Let the tendon release. Let the finger uncurl, losing its curve, becoming long and soft. Move to the middle finger, the ring finger, the pinky. One by one, turn off the power. Imagine a series of small lights in the joints of the fingers. Watch them dim and go out. The hand is no longer a tool. It is no longer a weapon. It is no longer a clamp. It is simply a collection of cells. Resting, feel the palm of your hand. When we are anxious, the energy pools here, ready to grab. Visualize a small block of ice sitting in the center of your palm. Feel it melting. Feel the cool water trickling down the sides of your hand, washing away the heat of the effort, washing away the need to hold on. As your physical hand opens, visualize the fist of the mind opening with it. The mind clutches at thoughts just as the hand clutches at objects. It wraps around a worry and squeezes. But as you relax the fingers, you send a biofeedback signal to the brain. It is safe to let go. You are dropping the sugar in the coconut. You are sliding your hand out of the trap. The thought, the prize you were gripping so tightly, remains inside the coconut. It will be there tomorrow if you really want it. But you are free. You are pulling your energy back. Notice the sensation of the open hand. It feels spacious. It feels tingling. It feels receptive. An open hand cannot fight. An open hand cannot work. An open hand can only receive. And tonight, what you are receiving is the gift of rest. Extend this release up the arm. If the hand is the fist, the shoulder is the anchor of the tension. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears. Let them sink into the support of the bed. You are putting down the heavy bags you have carried from the grocery store of the world. You are unhooking the armor. You are no longer the monkey caught in the trap. You are the wise one who knows that freedom is more valuable than the sugar. You have opened the fist. You have released the grip. And in that release, you find that you are not falling into chaos, but floating into peace. The hand is open, the grip is gone, and now you are ready to understand why the chaos you feared is actually the very soil from which your sleep will bloom. There is a tendency in the overthinking mind to view the noise, the stress, and the racing thoughts as enemies. We think, if only my mind were clear, I could sleep. If only I hadn't had such a stressful day, I would be peaceful. We look at the mud of our lives, the confusion, the anxiety, the busyness, and we try to shovel it out. We try to sterilize our minds, but Buddhist wisdom offers a different, more organic perspective. It points us to the symbol of the lotus flower. Padma. Consider the biology of the lotus. It is a flower of breathtaking beauty, with petals of pristine white or delicate pink, unfolding in a perfect symmetry of geometry and grace. It is a symbol of enlightenment, of sleep, of purity. But where does the lotus grow? It does not grow in the clean sand of the desert. It does not grow in the clear, rocky soil of the high mountains. It does not grow in a sterile laboratory. The lotus grows in the mud. It grows in the swamps, in the stagnant ponds, in the muck that is thick with decaying leaves, insects, and dark, murky water. This is not an accident. This is a necessity. The lotus needs the mud. The mud provides the nutrients, the density, and the anchor that the flower requires to push its way up toward the surface. Without the mud, there is no lotus. Without the chaos, there is no peace. Tonight, you are lying in the mud. The thoughts swirling in your head, the snippets of conversation, the fragments of songs, the worries about bills, the replay of mistakes. This is the mud of your life. The monkey mind hates the mud. It wants to clean it up. It judges the mud as bad. But the wisdom of this chapter invites you to stop fighting the mud. This heaviness you feel, it is fertilizer. This exhaustion, it is soil. This overactive brain, it is the nutrient-rich darkness from which your sleep will emerge. Visualize the seed of the lotus buried deep in the bottom of the pond. It is dark there. It is silent. The seed does not judge the darkness. It does not say, "It is too dirty down here." It accepts its placement. It draws strength from the very things that seem unpleasant. It transmutes the decay into energy. You are that seed. You are nestled in the rich, dark sediment of your own tired body. Do not wish to be elsewhere. Do not wish for a cleaner mind. Sink into the mud. Feel its thickness. It is holding you. It is grounding you. As the seed absorbs the nutrients, it begins to send a shoot upward. This shoot travels through the murky water. This is the transition from wakefulness to sleep. It is a journey through the twilight zone of consciousness, where thoughts become dreamlike, where logic dissolves into imagery. The stem rises taller and taller, moving toward the faint light of the surface, and finally it breaks the tension of the water. It opens its petals to the moonlight. This is the moment of deep sleep. The flower floats on the surface, untouched by the mud, yet entirely connected to it. If you try to cut the stem to separate the flower from the mud, the flower dies. If you try to force your mind to be empty before you sleep, you are trying to have the lotus without the swamp. It is impossible. Reframe your day. The conflict you had, that is nitrogen for your rest. The rushing around, that is phosphorus for your dreams. The noise, that is the potassium that feeds the roots. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is wrong. The alchemy of the night is taking all the raw materials of your stressful day and converting them into the golden silence of sleep. Say to yourself, this mud is good. Feel the relief in that statement. You don't have to clean your mind. You don't have to solve your life. You just have to let the roots go down. Let them go deep into the messy, complicated, beautiful reality of being human. The deeper the mud, the more beautiful the lotus. If your day was particularly hard, if your mind is particularly loud, then the sleep that is coming will be particularly deep. You are preparing for a magnificent bloom. Rest in the swamp. It is warm here. It is safe here. It is the womb of creation. You are not drowning. You are being planted. You are gathering the strength to rise. And as you stop fighting the mud, you feel the gentle upward pull of the stem, lifting you effortlessly toward the surface where the silence is waiting. As the lotus finds its place on the surface of the water, you begin to hear something that has been there all along, a sound that is not a sound, waiting behind the noise of the world. You are lying in a room that you perceive as quiet, but true silence is not merely the absence of noise. It is a presence in itself. It is a fabric, a texture, a landscape that is always there, waiting to be noticed beneath the clamor of the world. Tonight, we move our attention from the thoughts in the head to the sounds in the room, using the sense of hearing as a ladder to climb down into the deep well of rest. The monkey mind is obsessed with content. It listens to the words of the internal dialogue. It listens to the meaning of the thoughts. But the ears, the physical organs of hearing, do not care about meaning. They only care about vibration. They are biological microphones, constantly receiving the waves of energy that wash over you. When you shift your focus from what you are thinking to what you are hearing, you bypass the logic centers of the brain and tap directly into the nervous system. Begin by expanding your awareness like a radar dish. Cast your hearing out as far as it can go. Search for the most distant sound. It might be the hum of traffic on a highway miles away, a low, rhythmic drone that sounds like the ocean. It might be the wind moving through trees in the distance. It might be the faint rumble of a plane crossing the night sky, carrying travelers to unseen destinations. Do not name these sounds. Do not say, that is a car. Do not say, that is a plane. Simply register the vibration. Hear the pitch. Hear the volume. Hear the way the sound swells and fades. By listening to the distance, you expand the boundaries of your own consciousness. You are not trapped in the small box of your bedroom. Your awareness is as wide as the horizon. You are connecting with the vast, sleeping world outside. Now, slowly bring the radar closer. Contract the circle of your hearing. Listen to the sounds immediately outside your building. Perhaps there is the chirp of a cricket. Perhaps there is the settling of the house, the creak of wood cooling in the night air. Perhaps there is the sound of rain against the glass, a chaotic yet soothing percussion. Notice how these sounds appear and disappear. They rise out of the silence, they sustain for a moment, and they dissolve back into the silence. They are transient, they are impermanent, they are like your thoughts, visitors that come and go without your permission and without your effort. Now, bring the hearing inside the room. Listen to the intimate sounds of your sanctuary. There is likely the hum of electricity, the refrigerator in the other room, the air conditioning unit, the fan spinning its blades. These are the sounds of modern safety. They are the white noise of comfort. Listen to the texture of this hum. It is steady. It is reliable. It is a sonic floor upon which you can rest. Come closer still. Listen to the sound of your own body. Listen to the rustle of the sheets as your chest rises and falls. Listen to the soft whistle of the air entering your nostrils. If it is very quiet and you are very still, you may even hear the rhythmic thrum of your own heart, the drumbeat of your life, beating steadily, faithfully, independent of your worry. And now we listen for the most important sound of all. We listen for the sound behind the sounds. Imagine a painting. To paint a picture, you need a canvas. The canvas is white, blank, and silent. The paint, the reds, the blues, the greens, is placed on top of the canvas. The sounds you hear, the car, the fan, the breath, are the paint. But the silence is the canvas. It holds the sounds. Without the silence, the sound would have no place to exist. Can you hear the canvas? Can you tune your ears to the background silence that is wrapping around the noise? It is a velvety, thick, spacious quality. It is not empty. It is full of potential. It is the sound of peace. When you focus on the noise, you feel the agitation of the world. When you focus on the silence between the noises, you feel the stillness of the universe. There is a gap between the end of the inhale and the start of the exhale. Listen to that gap. There is a gap between the passing car and the next gust of wind. Listen to that gap. As you pay attention to the silence grows. It seems to expand, swallowing the small noises of the night. The fan becomes a distant whisper. The traffic fades into a lullaby. The silence comes closer, like a heavy, warm blanket being pulled up to your chin. This practice is the sonic equivalent of the empty boat. You are realizing that the noise is not a disturbance. It is just a ripple on the surface of a very deep lake. The lake itself is silent. You are sinking beneath the surface. You are moving away from the crashing waves of the auditory world and descending into the muffled, quiet depths. Your ears stop reaching out for information. They begin to turn inward. You are listening now to the silence of the mind. The internal chatter is slowing down, leaving larger and larger gaps of quiet. In those gaps, you find rest. In those gaps, you find the you that exists before a thought arises. You are resting in the sound of the void. It is a comforting void. It is the sound of the womb, the sound of the deep ocean, the sound of space. It is the frequency of sleep. Let the silence vibrate through your bones. Let it wash out the echo of the day's conversations. Let it purify the auditory nerves. There is nothing left to hear. There is nothing left to decode. There is only the hum of existence, steady, low, and infinite. You are lying on your back in a field of tall, soft grass. Above you, the sky is a dome of infinite, crystalline blue. It stretches from horizon to horizon, vast, open, and untouched. This sky represents the nature of your mind, your true mind, the consciousness that is aware, the spirit that is alive. It is the big mind that the Zen masters speak of. It is limitless, clear, and permanently at peace. Drifting across this blue sky are clouds. These clouds represent your thoughts, your emotions, and your sensations. Some days the clouds are small, white, and fluffy. These are the pleasant thoughts, memories of laughter, anticipation of a good meal, the feeling of comfort. They drift by lazily, changing shape, dissolving into wisps. They are beautiful, but they are not the sky. Other days the clouds are dark, heavy, and towering. These are the storm clouds of anxiety, fear, and stress. They crowd the sky. They block the sun. They bring thunder and lightning. They look terrifying. They feel overwhelming. They seem to take up the entire world. But tonight, you remember the fundamental truth of meteorology. The cloud is not the sky. No matter how dark the storm cloud is, it cannot damage the sky. The lightning cannot burn the blue. The rain cannot wet the atmosphere. The thunder cannot crack the dome. The sky simply holds the weather. It provides the space for the storm to rage, and it provides the space for the storm to pass. And the storm always passes. The monkey mind suffers because it thinks it is the cloud. It identifies with the dark, heavy shape. It says, I am anxious. It says, I am a storm. It forgets that it is the space containing the anxiety. Tonight, you shift your identification. You are not the cloud. You are the sky. Observe the thoughts passing through your mental atmosphere right now. Perhaps there is a gray cloud of unfinished tasks. Watch it. See its shape. It looks heavy. It looks solid. But if you flew a plane into that cloud, you would find it is just mist. It is vapor. It has no substance. It cannot hurt you. Perhaps there is a storm cloud of loneliness or regret. It looks dark. It casts a shadow over your bed. But look behind it. Look at the edges of the cloud. What do you see? You see the blue. You see the vastness that surrounds it. The cloud is a tiny object floating in an immense void. The sky does not fight the clouds. The sky does not say, I wish this storm would go away. The sky does not say, I am a bad sky because I have clouds today. The sky has no preference. It is large enough to hold the hurricane and the rainbow with equal ease. This is the quality of equanimity. You are cultivating the sky mind. You are expanding your sense of self to be larger than your problems. If you put a teaspoon of salt into a glass of water, the water becomes undrinkable. But if you put a teaspoon of salt into a freshwater lake, the water remains pure. The salt is the same amount, but the container is different. When you are the cloud, you are the glass. When you are the sky, you are the lake. Feel the boundaries of your mind dissolving. You are not contained within your skull. Your awareness is as wide as the night itself. The thoughts that used to feel so big, the worries about money, the stress about time, suddenly look very small against the backdrop of the infinite. They are just weather patterns passing through. Let them drift. Do not try to blow them away. Do not try to hold them in place. The wind of time will move them. Your job is simply to be the blue. Visualize the color blue, a deep indigo midnight blue. Inhale the vastness. Exhale the constriction. With every breath you become more spacious. The clouds of the day are scattering. They are breaking apart, becoming thinner and thinner, revealing the stars behind them. The stars are the lights of your intuition, your deep knowing. They are always there, even when the clouds hide them. Now that you have remembered you are the sky, the clouds are parting and the starlight is reaching you. You are vast, you are open, you are indestructible. The weather of your life, the highs and lows, the wakefulness and the sleepiness, is just surface activity. Deep down in the stratosphere of your being, there is only stillness. There is only the eternal quiet blue. You rest in this vastness, untroubled by the vapor, held by the infinite space of your own true nature. We arrive now at a concept that is the secret key to unlocking the prison of trying to sleep. In Sanskrit, it is called tathata, which translates to suchness. It creates a bridge between the struggle you feel and the peace you seek. The struggle to sleep is almost always rooted in the word should. The mind says, I should be asleep by now. The room should be cooler. My neighbors should be quieter. My mind should be still. This is the comparing mind. It holds up a picture of an ideal reality, a reality where you are deeply asleep in a silent room, and compares it to the current reality where you are awake in a room with a ticking clock. The gap between the ideal and the real is where the tension lives. That gap is the stress. The wider the gap, the greater the suffering. Tathata, or suchness, is the radical practice of closing that gap by completely abandoning the ideal. It is the practice of saying yes to exactly what is happening right now, without wishing it to be 1 millimeter different. It is the understanding that this moment, right now, with your eyes closed, feeling the sheets, hearing the hum of the house, having the thoughts you are having, is the only moment that exists in the entire universe. There is no other moment. The moment where you are asleep is a fantasy. It is not real. To long for it is to long for a ghost. This moment, this suchness, is the gift. Tonight, practice tatthata. If your leg feels restless, do not wish it were still. Enter into the sensation of the restlessness. Feel the vibration of the energy. Say to yourself, restlessness is such. This is the texture of reality right now. It is not wrong. It is just what is. If your mind is busy, do not wish it were empty. Say to yourself, thinking is such. This is the flavor of the mind right now. When you stop arguing with reality, a miraculous thing happens. The tension that was holding the wakefulness in place dissolves. You stop fighting the war. And when the war ends, peace naturally descends. Think of a child throwing a tantrum because it is raining and they want to play outside. They scream at the window, they cry, they are miserable. Does their misery stop the rain? No, the rain is such. It falls regardless of the child's desire. The wise parent sits by the window and watches the rain, appreciating the gray light, the sound of the water, the nourishment for the garden. You have been the child, screaming at the window of your eyes because the weather of your mind is not what you wanted. Be the wise parent. Sit by the window. Appreciate the suchness of the night. Here I am, you say to yourself, lying in a soft bed, safe, warm, breathing. This is enough. This is more than enough. The paradox of sleep is that it only comes when you stop waiting for it. As long as you are checking the clock, monitoring your progress, and demanding that sleep arrive, you are pushing it away. You are standing at the door, blocking the guest you invited. Tatthata is stepping away from the door. It is sitting down in the chair of the present moment and getting comfortable with whatever is there. It is saying, if I sleep, wonderful. If I rest, wonderful. If I think, wonderful. This radical neutrality sends a powerful signal of safety to the mammalian brain. It says, there is no threat here. There is no problem to solve. The amygdala deactivates, the cortisol lowers, the heart rate slows. By accepting the suchness of being awake, you accidentally create the perfect conditions for sleep. But you cannot do it to sleep. You must do it for the sake of the moment itself. Taste the flavor of now. It is unique. You will never live this exact second again. The way the light from the street lamp hits the curtain, that is suchness. The specific temperature of the air on your forehead, that is suchness. The feeling of the blanket, that is suchness. Receive it, welcome it, merge with it. You are not a person trying to escape this moment into the future of sleep. You are a consciousness fully inhabiting this moment of rest. You are right where you need to be. Everything is perfect, just as it is. There is no mistake. There is only this, just this. To integrate all that we have learned, we turn to a story from the life of the Buddha, a story that illustrates the mechanism of settling the mind. It is the story of the muddy water. One day, the Buddha and his disciples were walking through the countryside. It was a hot, dusty day, and they had been walking for hours. They came to a small, meandering stream. The Buddha turned to his closest attendant, Ananda, and said, I am thirsty. Please get me some water from that stream. Ananda took a bowl and walked down to the water's edge. But just as he arrived, a caravan of ox carts crossed the stream. The heavy wheels and the hooves of the animals churned up the riverbed. The dead leaves, the silt, and the mud rose to the surface. The water, which had been clear moments before, was now thick, brown, and undrinkable. Ananda returned to the Buddha with the empty bowl. "Master," he said, "the water is too dirty. We cannot drink it. Let us walk further to the river. The water there is clear." The Buddha simply said, "No, go back to the stream." Ananda was confused, but he obeyed. He walked back. The water was still muddy, swirling with debris. He returned to the Buddha. "It is still dirty, Master. We cannot drink it." The Buddha smiled and said, "Go back, and this time do not do anything. Just sit by the bank." Ananda went back. He sat by the stream. He watched the water. He didn't try to filter it with his hands. He didn't try to scoop out the mud. He didn't shout at the water to be clean. He simply sat. Slowly, the laws of physics took over. The heavy flow of the current slowed down. The mud, being heavier than the water, began to sink toward the bottom. The dead leaves drifted to the banks. The silt settled into the riverbed. Little by little, the brown water turned amber, then translucent, and finally, crystal clear. The mud was still there, but it was on the bottom, no longer disturbing the nature of the water. Ananda dipped his bowl in and brought back clear, cool, refreshing water to the master. The Buddha looked at the water and then at Ananda. "You see," he said, "you did not make the water clean. You allowed it to become clean. The mud settles when you stop stirring. Your mind is that stream. The ox carts of the day, the work, the news, the conversations, the commute, have crossed through it. They have churned up the mud of your thoughts and emotions. You are lying there, looking at the muddy water of your mind, and you are trying to clean it. You are trying to push the thoughts away. You are trying to filter the anxiety. You are trying to force clarity. But this effort is just more stirring. Your mental hands are splashing in the water, keeping the mud in suspension. The wisdom of the bowl of water is the wisdom of non-action. You cannot force your mind to be quiet. You can only create the conditions in which quietness becomes inevitable. And the primary condition is stillness. Tonight, you are Ananda sitting by the bank. You are looking at the murky water of your racing mind. Do not judge it. Do not try to clean it. Just sit. Just lie there. Trust the gravity of the mind. Thoughts are heavy. They want to sink. Emotions are heavy. They want to settle. If you stop adding the energy of doing, the energy of trying, the sediment will naturally begin to fall. Visualize the inside of your head as a snow globe that has been shaken. The flakes are swirling everywhere. It is chaotic. Now visualize placing the snow globe on a table. You take your hands off it. You step back. What happens? At first, nothing seems to happen. The flakes are still swirling, but physics is working. Slowly, the flakes begin to descend. The space at the top of the globe becomes clear. Then the middle becomes clear. Finally, all the flakes rest peacefully on the bottom. The scene inside becomes visible. The water becomes transparent. This is exactly what is happening to you right now. You have stopped the ox carts. You have stopped the walking. You are lying still. The mud is settling. It is a biological certainty. It may take a few minutes. It may take an hour. It does not matter. The process is automatic. You do not need to check on the water. You do not need to ask, is it clear yet? That is stirring. Just trust the settling. Feel the heaviness of your body sinking into the mattress. That is the mud sinking to the bottom. Feel the lightness of your breath. That is the clear water rising to the top. The clarity is returning. The peace is returning. Not because you fought for it, but because you stopped disturbing the natural state of your own being. The water is becoming clear. The mind is becoming still. You are ready to drink from the cup of deep rest. You are currently experiencing the illusion of separation. This is the primary characteristic of the waking state. You feel distinct from the bed you lie on. You feel separate from the air you breathe. You feel that your consciousness is a small walled garden, isolated from the vast wilderness of the universe. This sense of separation is what maintains the vigilance of the monkey mind. It feels it must defend the borders of the self. But as we move deeper into the territory of sleep, we approach the ancient wisdom that dissolves these borders. We look to the behavior of water, the element that governs the subconscious. Imagine the journey of a single drop of rain. It begins high in the atmosphere, falling from a cloud. It lands on the peak of a jagged mountain. At this moment, the drop is energetic, frantic, and individual. It joins with other drops to form a tiny rivulet, rushing over rocks, plummeting down waterfalls, navigating sharp turns. This is the river of your day. The river is loud, it is turbulent, it is constantly negotiating obstacles, it pushes around boulders, it carves through soil. It has a name, the Ganges, the Nile, the Mississippi. Just as you have a name, it has a direction, it has an agenda, it wants to get somewhere. This is the energy of your waking life, the drive to achieve, to move, to define yourself against the landscape. But all rivers, no matter how mighty, share a single destiny. They are all moving toward the ocean. As the river approaches the coast, a profound change occurs. The banks widen, the current slows, the water becomes brackish, a mixture of the fresh river water and the salt of the sea. The distinct identity of the river begins to fade. The turbulence quiets. The rushing noise settles into a rhythmic tidal hum. Finally, the river meets the sea. In that moment of meeting, does the river die? No, it becomes something greater. It surrenders its small name to take on the name of the ocean. It surrenders its narrow banks to take on the horizon. It surrenders its frantic forward motion to take on the deep, slow heave of the tides. Sleep is your ocean. The waking mind is the river. Tonight, you are at the delta. You are at the place where the river widens. You may feel a subtle fear, the fear of letting go of your thoughts, the fear of losing the I that has been steering the ship all day. This is the river's fear of the ocean. It is the ego's fear of dissolution. But this dissolution is not a death. It is a homecoming. Visualize your consciousness as that widening river. You have traveled a long way today. You have navigated the rapids of work, the waterfalls of emotion, the sharp bends of unexpected events. But the terrain is flattening out now. The gravity is pulling you gently, not forward, but downward and outward. You are merging with the source. The ocean of sleep is vast, dark, and ancient. It was here before you were born, and it will be here after you are gone. It is the reservoir of all human rest. When you sleep, you are not entering a private black box. You are rejoining the collective stillness of the biosphere. You are dipping your cup into the same well that every ancestor, every animal, and every sage has drunk from. Feel the boundaries of your body becoming less defined. Where does your skin end and the sheet begin? Where does the breath end and the atmosphere begin? The lines are blurring. You are no longer a solid object fighting the current. You are the water entering the water. The resistance you felt earlier, the tossing and turning, was just the turbulence of the estuary, the place where the river meets the tide. But you are moving past that now. You are drifting out past the breakers. The water is deep here. It is silent. It supports you completely. You do not need to swim in this ocean. The salt water makes you buoyant. You simply float. You are held by a power much larger than your own will. The doing of the river is over. The being of the ocean has begun. Allow yourself to expand. You are not just the small, tired person in the bed. You are the vast, rhythmic rising and falling of the universal tide. The waves of your brainwaves are slowing down, matching the frequency of the deep sea. You are returning to the source. You are coming home to the water from which you came. You are vast. You are deep. You are peace. We drift from the water to the wood, entering the quiet sanctuary of Taoist wisdom to explore the concept of Pu, or the uncarved block. This image is a master key for unlocking the state of deep, restorative rest. In the philosophy of the Tao, the uncarved block represents the state of pure potential. It is a piece of wood in its natural state, rough, heavy, simple, and silent. It has not yet been carved into a bowl, a statue, or a spoon. It has no specific function. It has no name. It just is. During the waking hours, you are the carved block. Society, duty, and your own ambition carve you into specific shapes. You are carved into the shape of an employee. You are carved into the shape of a parent. You are carved into the shape of a problem solver, a driver, a friend, a critic. These carvings are necessary for the day. A bowl is useful because it can hold soup. A spoon is useful because it can stir. But the process of being carved is exhausting. It requires sharpness. It requires cutting away parts of your nature to fit into a role. It requires edges and definitions. The suffering of the overthinker comes from trying to remain a carved block at night. You are lying in bed, but you are still holding the shape of the employee, worrying about the email. You are still holding the shape of the critic, judging your performance. You are maintaining the sharp edges of your identity when the time for utility has passed. Sleep requires you to return to the state of the uncarved block. It asks you to fill in the grooves. It asks you to put down the tools of definition and return to the forest. Imagine a heavy, solid log of oak resting on the floor of an ancient forest. It is covered in moss. It smells of earth and rain. It is not trying to be anything. It is not trying to look like anything. It is heavy with its own existence. It possesses a quiet, stubborn gravity. Tonight, you are that block of wood. Feel the heaviness of your body. This heaviness is often mistaken for fatigue, but it is actually the sensation of poo. It is the sensation of your substance returning to its natural state. You are losing your definition. You are no longer the person who needs to answer questions. You are no longer the person who has a title or a bank account. Those are just chips of wood on the workshop floor. Sweep them aside. Here, in the dark, you are simply biology. You are simply mass. You are a breathing, warm, living substance without a label. The uncarved block does not worry about the future because it has no future function to perform. It is content to simply sit. It is simple. This simplicity is the antidote to the complexity of your thoughts. The mind wants to build intricate structures, complex arguments, and detailed plans. The uncarved block says, too complicated. Be simple. Be wood. Visualize your thoughts as the knife trying to carve you. What about tomorrow? The knife asks, trying to cut a groove. I am wood, you reply. The knife blunts against your heaviness. Did I do enough today? The knife asks. I am wood, you reply. The wood does not care about enough. The wood only cares about is. Allow yourself to become dull. In the waking world, dullness is seen as a negative trait. We want to be sharp, quick, and cutting. But in the sleeping world, sharpness is the enemy. Sharpness tears the fabric of the dream. Tonight, embrace the dullness. Embrace the roundness. Embrace the lack of sophistication. You don't need to be smart right now. You don't need to be interesting. You don't need to be efficient. You just need to be heavy. Sink into the mattress as if you are that log settling into the moss. Feel the support of the earth rising to meet you. The earth loves the uncarved block because it is real, because it is unpretentious. Let your face lose its expression. The face is the most carved part of the human being. We carve smiles, frowns, and looks of concern to signal our roles to others. Let the facial muscles smooth out. Let the mask melt. Return to the blank, peaceful face of the block. There is a profound freedom in this lack of definition. You are releasing the burden of being someone. You are resting in the luxury of just being something, a part of nature, quiet, solid, and utterly at rest. The uncarved block rests in space, but the mind still wanders in time. The final barrier to deep sleep is often the burden of time itself. The mind stretches backward into the past, replaying the tapes of yesterday, and it stretches forward into the future, simulating the challenges of tomorrow. This stretching creates tension. It pulls the consciousness thin, like a rubber band snapped between two posts. To enter the gate of sleep, we must cut the rubber band. We must perform an act of radical simplification. We must reduce the entire universe, the entire span of your life, down to a single microscopic point of focus. Only this breath. Zen masters often speak of ichigo ichi, one time, one meeting. It means that this moment will never occur again. But tonight, we take it even further. We practice the discipline of the single bead. Imagine your life as a long string of beads. There are thousands of beads representing the past, the days you have lived, the breaths you have taken. They are behind you. You cannot polish them. You cannot rearrange them. They are set in stone. There are thousands of beads representing the future, the days to come, the breaths you have not yet taken. They are misty and unformed. You cannot touch them. They do not exist yet. In your hand, right now, there is only one bead. It is this current inhalation. The practice is to treat this single breath as if it is the only event in the history of the cosmos. Begin the inhalation. As the air enters, do not think about the exhalation that will follow. That is the future. It is too far away. Stay entirely with the intake. Feel the cool air hitting the back of the throat. Feel the ribs beginning to expand. This is a universe unto itself. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Ride the inhalation to its very peak. Notice the tiny pause where the direction changes. Now, begin the exhalation. Do not think about the next inhalation. Do not think about waking up. Do not think about 5 minutes from now. That is an eternity away. Stay entirely with the release. Feel the warm air passing over the lip. Feel the chest sinking. Feel the navel moving toward the spine. When the breath is finished, let it go completely. It joins the beads of the past. It is gone forever. You are empty. Then and only then does the next bead appear. This practice is the ultimate cure for the overwhelmed mind. Overwhelm comes from trying to hold 1,000 beads at once. It comes from trying to breathe the breaths of next week today. But you are biologically incapable of breathing in the future. You can only breathe now. Why carry the weight of 1,000 breaths when you are only required to carry one? Narrow your aperture. If your mind tries to show you a picture of tomorrow's to-do list, gently say, "Too big." Return to the bead. If your mind tries to analyze a conversation from dinner, say, "Too far." Return to the bead. You are a pearl diver. You are diving down to retrieve one single pearl, this breath. You bring it to the surface, look at it, appreciate its luster, and then drop it back into the sea. Then you dive for the next one. There is a hypnotic rhythm to this simplicity. It is boring to the monkey mind, and that is exactly the point. The monkey mind thrives on complexity and drama. It wants a movie. You are giving it a single pixel. Boredom is the threshold of sleep. When the monkey mind realizes there is no drama here, only the endless rhythmic counting of beads, it begins to pack up its bags. It begins to shut down. The universe shrinks. It is no longer the size of the planet. It is no longer the size of the city. It is no longer even the size of the room. The universe is now the size of your nostrils. It is the size of your diaphragm. In this tiny, contracted space, there is no room for worry. Worry is too big to fit in the present moment. Fear is too bulky to fit in a single breath. By making your world small, you make it safe. Just this one, and now just this one, and now just this one. You are walking a path of single stones across a misty river. You do not need to see the other shore. You do not need to see the mountain ahead. You only need to see the stone you are standing on. It is solid. It holds you. Step to the next one. Simple, small, safe. Sleep is not a destination you run toward. It is a stone you step onto when you stop looking at the horizon. We have returned to the source. We have become the uncarved block. We have narrowed our world to a single breath. Now we witness the natural conclusion of the day's energy. We observe the metaphor of the ancient oil lamp. Imagine a small stone temple in a high mountain cave. It is centuries old, a place of absolute sanctuary. Inside there is no electric light, no screens, no flashing indicators. There is only a single clay lamp, sitting in a niche in the wall. This lamp has been burning all day. It was filled with oil in the morning, the oil of your vitality, your glucose, your cortisol, your attention. The flame burned bright at noon, illuminating the work you had to do. It burned steady in the afternoon, but now the oil is running low. This is not a crisis. This is the design. The lamp is meant to go out. Visualize the level of the oil in the lamp of your body. It is near the bottom. The flame, which was once tall and yellow, is now becoming small, orange, and round. It is settling closer to the wick. The monkey mind often panics when it feels this lowering of energy. It tries to pour more oil in. It stimulates itself with screens, with worry, with sugar, with thinking. It tries to force the flame to be high when the fuel is low. This is the violence of the modern age, the refusal to go dark. Tonight, you practice the wisdom of the dimming light. You watch the flame lower with a sense of gratitude, not fear. The oil is spent, you acknowledge. I have used my day well. Watch the shadows in the temple grow longer. As the light dims, the corners of the room disappear into the velvet darkness. The world of objects, the tables, the walls, the floor, begins to soften and recede. This is what is happening to your senses. Your eyes are the flame. They have consumed images all day. Now the eyelids are heavy shutters closing over the lamp. Let them close. Let the visual world dissolve. You do not need to see anything anymore. Your ears are the flame. They have consumed sound all day. Now the volume is turning down. The auditory world is retreating into the shadows. Your muscles are the flame. They have consumed action all day. Now they are cooling. The heat of movement is fading into the cool stone of stillness. There is a cozy, warm quality to this dimming. It is the feeling of a fire in a hearth that has burned down to glowing embers. The roaring fire is exciting, but the embers are comforting. They radiate a deep, penetrating heat that warms the bones. You are those embers. You are glowing with the residual life of the day, but you are no longer burning with the need to do. Do not fight the darkness. The darkness is the friend of the lamp. It is the velvet cushion upon which the jewel of your consciousness rests. As the flame gets smaller, it becomes more stable. It stops flickering in the wind. It becomes a tiny, steady point of light, like a star. This is the hypnagogic state, the borderland between waking and sleeping. You are witnessing the conservation of energy. You are saving the wick for tomorrow. If you burn the dry wick tonight, there will be no light in the morning. To sleep is to save the wick. Feel the sensation of powering down. It is a cascading wave of deactivation, moving from the top of your head to the soles of your feet. Click, click, click. The systems are going offline. The sentries are leaving their posts. The castle is locking its gates. The lamp is flickering one last time, not a flicker of struggle, but a flicker of release. The light is not dying. It is simply retreating into the oil, retreating into the potential, waiting for the spark of the morning sun. For now, the temple is dark. The stone is cool. The silence is absolute. You are safe in the shadow of the mountain. The light has done its work. Now the darkness will do its healing. Let it fade. Let it go. Let it be dark. We arrive now at the final paradox of the waking mind. You have followed the path. You have observed the breath. You have released the burning coal and watched the empty boat drift by. And yet, there may still be a tiny, persistent part of you that is waiting for something to happen. You are waiting for the moment of sleep. You are checking the gates of the subconscious, looking for the key, looking for the latch, trying to figure out how to open the door and walk through. This is the barrier of effort. In the Zen tradition, this is known as the Mumonkan, or the gateless gate. It is a barrier that appears solid, formidable, and locked. You push against it with your will. You try to force it open with your breathing techniques. You try to outsmart it with your logic. But the gate does not budge. The more you push, the stronger the resistance feels. The secret of the gateless gate is revealed only when you stop pushing, when you finally exhaust your effort, when you drop your hands to your sides and surrender the attempt to enter. You look up and realize there is no gate. There never was a gate. The path is open. The only thing blocking the way was your own posture of pushing. Sleep is not a destination you march toward. It is not a city you conquer. Sleep is a place you fall into. You cannot try to fall. To try is to tense the muscles, to engage the mind, to activate the very systems that need to shut down. Trying to sleep is like trying to catch the wind in a net. The act of catching pushes the wind away. Tonight, you practice the art of non-effort. This is the most subtle and advanced practice of all. It is the practice of giving up. In the waking world, giving up is framed as a failure. We are taught to persist, to strive, to overcome. But in the night world, giving up is the ultimate victory. It is the biological signal that allows the parasympathetic nervous system to take the helm. Say to yourself, I give up. Feel the power of those words. You are not giving up on life. You are giving up on the management of this moment. You are resigning from the position of general manager of the universe for the next 8 hours. You are handing over the keys. If you are awake, you are awake. Surrender to it. Stop looking for the door. Stop wondering if you are doing it right. There is no right. There is only the bed, the breath, and the gravity holding you. Imagine a leaf hanging from a branch in late autumn. The leaf does not try to fall. It does not strain or push. It simply weakens its attachment. It dries out. It lets go. The wind takes it. The gravity takes it. The fall is effortless. The leaf spirals down, trusting the air, trusting the ground. It lands exactly where it is meant to land. You are that leaf. The branch is your day. You have held on tight for hours, absorbing the sunlight, enduring the rain. But the season of the day is over. The attachment is weakening. You do not need to snap the stem. You just need to stop holding on. Let gravity do the work. Gravity is the oldest force in the universe. It pulls everything toward the center. It pulls rocks, water, and tired bodies. It is pulling you now. You don't have to help gravity. You don't have to push yourself down into the mattress. You are being pulled. Notice the sensation of weight. This is the feeling of the gateless gate dissolving. The heavy feeling in your limbs is the proof that you are no longer supporting yourself. You are being supported. The bed is rising to meet you. The earth is rising to meet the bed. If a thought arises that says, I am not asleep yet, recognize it as a person pushing on a phantom door. Smile at it. There is no door. There is no inside or outside of sleep. There is just a gentle gradient, a slope that you are sliding down. You are walking through the walls of the problem. The problem was constructed of effort. When the effort vanishes, the walls vanish. You find yourself standing in a vast, open field of rest. There is nothing to achieve here. There is no gold medal for sleeping well. There is no grade for how quickly you drift off. Remove the scorecard, remove the judge. You are simply an organism returning to its baseline. It is as natural as a stone sinking in water. The stone does not try to sink. It does not read books on how to sink. It simply is a stone, and the water simply is water. The sinking happens. Let it happen. Stop helping, stop steering, stop managing. Your hands are off the wheel. The engine is off. The momentum is carrying you. You are passing through the gate that isn't there, leaving the land of effort behind and entering the valley of allowing. You have traveled a long way in stillness tonight. You have walked through the stories of the farmer, the weaver, the monk, and the river. These were not just stories to entertain the mind. They were seeds planted in the soil of your subconscious. Now, in this quiet phase of the night, we begin the process of integration. We cover the seeds with the warm earth of sleep, so they may germinate in the darkness. The conscious mind, the part of you that analyzes and dissects, is stepping back. The subconscious mind, the vast, deep, fertile garden, is stepping forward. It is receiving the wisdom you have absorbed. You do not need to remember the details of the chapters. You do not need to memorize the lists or the names. The work is done. The wisdom is now becoming part of your cellular structure. Recall the farmer, the feeling of maybe. It is settling into your bones. It is becoming a shield against future stress. Deep in your mind, a new pathway is forming, one that knows how to meet good news and bad news with equal calm. You are integrating the power of neutrality. You are becoming the eye of the storm. Recall the empty boat, the realization that no one is steering the obstacles of your life. This truth is sinking deep into your heart, dissolving old angers and resentments. You are integrating the power of forgiveness. You are realizing that the world is not personal. You are safe from the arrows of blame. Recall the lotus in the mud, the understanding that your challenges are the fertilizer for your growth. This wisdom is seeping into your nervous system, rewriting the story of your stress. You are integrating the power of resilience. You are learning that you can bloom anywhere, even in the chaos. Recall the uncarved block, the simplicity of just being. This image is merging with your muscles, teaching them how to be heavy, how to be still, how to simply exist without a label. You are integrating the power of simplicity. These truths are now the guardians of your sleep. They stand at the four corners of your bed. You do not need to think about them anymore. They are thinking you. They are holding the space for you. Imagine a great library at night. The patrons have all left. The lights are dimmed. The librarian walks through the aisles, placing the books back on the shelves. The knowledge is safe. The stories are preserved. The library is closing for the night. The silence in the library is heavy with wisdom. But it is a resting wisdom. It is not active. It is potential. Your mind is that library. The books of your day are being shelved. The lessons of this journey are being placed in their proper order. You can trust your mind to do this filing work for you. You do not need to supervise the process. Let the meaning of the words fade away. We are no longer interested in the intellectual concepts. We are only interested in the vibration of the truth. The vibration is safety. The vibration is wholeness. The vibration is peace. You are weaving these golden threads into the tapestry of your subconscious. Tomorrow when you wake, you will not need to consciously recall these lessons. They will simply be there. You will react to the spilled coffee with the farmer's maybe. You will react to the rude driver with the empty boat. You will react to the stress with the lotus. The transformation has happened. The download is complete. Now you can let the screen go dark. The integration happens best in the void. It happens best when you get out of the way. Feel a sense of profound satisfaction. You have done the work. You have faced the monkey mind and invited it to tea. You have faced the darkness and found the light within it. There is nothing left to learn tonight. There is nothing left to study. The classroom is closed. You are simply a vessel of wisdom now, floating on the tide. The wisdom is not something you carry, it is something you are. It is the ballast in your ship, keeping you steady, keeping you upright, even as you drift into the deepest waters. Rest in the knowing that you are wiser now than you were an hour ago. Rest in the knowing that you are equipped for whatever tomorrow brings. But tomorrow is 1,000 miles away. Right now, there is only the safety of the integration. The seeds are sleeping in the earth. You are sleeping in the bed. Everything is growing in the dark. The mind has been quieted. The wisdom has been stored. Now we turn our attention to the final dissolution of the physical form. We move from the biology of bone and muscle to the physics of energy and light. We begin the process of melting the ice. Imagine an ice cube sitting on a warm stone in the sun. The ice cube has hard edges. It has a defined shape. It is rigid. This is your body in the waking state, defined, solid, held together by tension and gravity. But as the warmth penetrates the ice, a transformation occurs. The edges begin to soften. The rigidity gives way to fluidity. The solid becomes liquid. Tonight, your bed is the warm stone. Your awareness is the sun. As you lay here, you are witnessing the melting of the physical boundary. Bring your attention to your feet. They have carried you all day. They have been encased in shoes, striking the pavement. They are the foundation. But now feel the edges of your feet beginning to blur. The sensation of foot is dissolving into a sensation of warm, tingling vibration. The heavy bone is turning into light. The tension is turning into water. The feet are no longer solid objects. They are a shimmering field of energy. Move this melting sensation up to the ankles and the calves. The large muscles that hold you upright against gravity are authorized to stand down. They release their grip on the bone. The separation between the muscle and the skin and the sheet and the air. It is all fading. There is just a continuous hum of relaxation. Feel the knees, the thighs, the hips. These are the hinges of your movement. They are often locked tight, ready to run, ready to act. Visualize the locks opening. Visualize the heavy oak doors swinging wide. The energy that was trapped in the joints is released. It flows out like a golden river, washing away the stiffness. The lower body is no longer a structure. It is a sensation of warmth. Move into the torso, the belly, the chest, the back. This is the container of your vital organs. It is the shield that protects your heart. But there is no battle tonight. You do not need a shield. Let the armor plate turn into mist. Let the ribs expand and contract with a fluidity that feels like the ocean breathing. The heart is not a pump. It is a pulse of light radiating outward in concentric circles. Feel the hands and the arms, the tools of your trade. They have grasped, typed, carried, and pushed. Now they are empty. They are becoming weightless. If you tried to lift your arm now, it would feel as if it belonged to someone else. It is made of helium. It is floating by your side. The fingers are dissolving into the space around them. Finally, the neck, the jaw, the face, the headquarters of the ego, the control tower. Watch the lights in the tower go out. The jaw unhinges, floating free. The tongue drops from the roof of the mouth. The eyes sink back into the skull, turning their gaze toward the inner landscape. The forehead smooths out, erasing the lines of worry, erasing the history of the day. You are no longer a solid object lying on a mattress. You are a cloud of awareness. You are a body of light. You are translucent. If you looked down at yourself, you would see only a soft, golden glow pulsating gently with the rhythm of the universe. This body of light has no weight. Gravity cannot pull on light. You feel a sensation of hovering, of levitating just a fraction of an inch above the bed. The heaviness of the earth has been traded for the lightness of the ether. In this state, pain cannot exist. because pain requires a solid form to grip. Stress cannot exist because stress requires resistance, and light does not resist. You are permeable, you are open, you are vast. You have returned to your energetic blueprint. This is the body you inhabit in your dreams. It is free from the laws of physics. It can fly, it can transform. You are preparing the vehicle for the journey into the dream world. Enjoy this weightlessness. Enjoy this freedom from form. You are not trapped in the body anymore. You are the energy that animates it, and tonight, that energy is expanding, unfurling, and glowing with the soft, quiet light of the stars. You are light, you are space, you are free. You are a body of light, hovering in the space of deep rest. Now we introduce the final element required for the transition: absolute stillness. In the waking world, movement is life. We move to eat, to work, to communicate. But in the sleeping world, stillness is the vehicle. The body must enter a state of complete paralysis, a sacred biological lock known as REM atonia, which protects you while you dream. We invite this state now, consciously and willingly. Imagine a great mountain. It has stood for 10,000 years. Storms buffet its peaks, snow falls and melts. Animals walk upon its slopes. But the mountain does not move. It is rooted in the crust of the earth. It is dense. It is immovable. It is the embodiment of stillness. Tonight, you become the mountain. Make a commitment to yourself right now to abandon all voluntary movement. The itch on the nose? Do not scratch it. Observe it. Watch it rise and fall like a wave, but remain the mountain. The urge to adjust the pillow, let it pass. The desire to shift the leg, let it go. Every time you move, you send a signal to the brain that says, I am still active, keep the systems running. Every time you remain still in the face of the urge to move, you send a signal that says, I am shutting down, initiate sleep mode. This stillness is not a rigid, frozen tension. It is a heavy, sinking relaxation. It is the stillness of a stone resting at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. The water above is miles deep. The pressure is immense, but it is a comforting pressure. It holds the stone in place. The stone could not move even if it wanted to. It is held by the ocean. Feel the gravity of the earth pulling you down. It is pulling you through the mattress, through the floor, through the foundation of the building. It is pulling you toward the magnetic core of the planet. You are being magnetized to the bed. Your arms are so heavy they have merged with the sheets. Your legs are so heavy they have become part of the mattress. Your head is a boulder resting in the sand. There is a profound safety in this immobility. You do not need to defend yourself. You do not need to run. You can afford to be completely still. As the body becomes a statue, the mind begins to lose its anchor in the physical world. The proprioception, the sense of where your limbs are in space, begins to fade. You might feel like your hands are huge, or that they are miles away from your body. You might feel like you are spinning slowly or facing the wrong direction. Do not be alarmed. These are the signs of the crossover. These are the signals that the sensory cables are being unplugged. The ship is untying from the dock. The stillness is spreading inward. The organs are quieting. The heart is beating with a slow tectonic rhythm. The breath is so shallow, so quiet, it is almost imperceptible. You are entering the hibernation of the bear, the dormancy of the seed. In this silence, time stops. There is no ticking clock. There is only the eternal now of the mountain. You are ancient, you are solid, you are at rest. Nothing can move you. A sound in the street cannot move you. A thought in the mind cannot move you. You are anchored in the bedrock of the night. Rest here. Be the stone. Be the mountain. Be the stillness that predates the invention of movement. You are completely stopped. And in this stopping, you have arrived. The journey is complete. The gate is open. The wisdom is stored. The body is light. The form is still. You are standing on the very edge of the waking world, looking out into the vast, velvety mist of the dream time. This is the moment of the final release. It is time to let go of the last thing you are holding on to, the listener. You have been listening to the words, following the guidance, visualizing the images. But now, even the voice guiding you must fade away. Even the concept of you listening must dissolve. Imagine a small boat that has been tethered to the dock. The rope has been holding it safe, but now unseen hands gently untie the knot. The rope slips from the cleat. It falls silently into the water. The boat is free. There is no motor on this boat. There are no oars. There is no rudder. There is only the gentle outgoing tide. The current catches the hull. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, the strip of water between the boat and the dock widens. You are drifting away. The shore is the waking world. It is the land of names, numbers, clocks, and lists. See it receding into the fog. The lights of the city of doing are getting smaller and dimmer. They are turning into tiny stars on the horizon. You are moving into the fog. It is a warm, comforting mist. It smells of lavender and ozone. It wraps around the boat, obscuring the view. You can no longer see where you came from, and you cannot yet see where you are going. You are in the drift. This is the hypnagogic state, the magical bridge. Here, logic no longer applies. Here, thoughts turn into images. A thought about work might turn into a vision of a blue horse running through a canyon. A thought about time might turn into a floating geometric shape. Do not analyze these images. They are the welcome committee of dreams. Watch them float by. They are nonsensical, beautiful, and safe. Your brain is switching frequencies. The beta waves of focus have smoothed into the alpha waves of relaxation and are now stretching into the long, slow theta and delta waves of deep sleep. You are falling. Not a frightening fall, but a slow-motion descent, like a feather dropping down a deep well lined with velvet. Down, down, down. Release the concepts. Release the word sleep. You don't need the word anymore. You have the experience. Release the word me. You don't need the identity anymore. You are the consciousness. Release the word tomorrow. It does not exist here. There is only this soft, dark drift. You are safe. You are loved. You are held. The silence is absolute now. It is not waiting for anything. It is the end of the story. The book is closed. The credits have rolled. The screen is fading to black. The ocean has you now. You are part of the tide. Good night. You have drifted away from the shore of the waking world. You have left the boat behind, allowing it to dissolve into the mist. Now, as you float in this space of transition, you begin to perceive a structure rising from the landscape of your deep mind. It is not a house of wood that can burn, nor a tent of cloth that can tear. It is a fortress. It is the inner citadel. For too long, you have lived as if your mind were a public square, open to every passerby, every noise, and every demand. You have allowed the winds of opinion and the storms of urgency to blow through the corridors of your consciousness without resistance. But tonight, you remember that you are the architect of a sanctuary that cannot be breached. You are returning to the place of absolute protection. Visualize this citadel. It is constructed of ancient, dark stone, hewn from the bedrock of the earth itself. These stones are cool, smooth, and immeasurably heavy. They have stood for 1,000 years, and they will stand for 1,000 more. They are not held together by mortar that can crumble, but by the sheer force of gravity and perfect alignment. This is the architecture of your true self, the part of you that remains untouched by the chaos of the day. Walk toward the entrance of this citadel in your mind's eye. The path is soft, covered in moss that absorbs the sound of your footsteps. There is no noise here. The air is still. You approach the great gate. It is made of iron and oak, thick and formidable. This gate is not locked against you. It recognizes you. It is designed to let you in and to keep the world out. As you step across the threshold, the heavy doors swing shut behind you. Listen to the sound. It is a deep, resonant thud that vibrates through the floor, followed by the slide of a massive iron bolt locking into place. Clang. The world is locked out. The noise of the traffic, the demands of the workplace, the expectations of family, the news of the globe, they are all on the other side of that iron door. They cannot enter here. You are severed from the source of the noise. You are now standing in the central chamber of the citadel. Notice the quality of the silence here. It is different from the silence of an empty room in a house. It is a pressurized silence, a protected silence. It is the silence of a vault. The walls are 10 feet thick. No vibration from the outside can penetrate them. If a storm is raging outside, you would not know it. If the world is shouting outside, you would not hear it. The air in this chamber is cool and pure. It smells of stone and old paper. It is a subterranean sanctuary buried deep beneath the layers of your daily identity. In this room, there are no windows. This is not a defect. It is a design of safety. Windows let in the light, but they also let in the gaze of others. They let in the changing weather. Here you do not need to see out, and no one needs to see in. You are completely hidden. You are cocooned in stone. Feel the sense of relief that washes over you as you realize you are unreachable. There is no signal here. No Wi-Fi waves can pass through this granite. No phone can ring. No notification can ping. You are off the grid. For the next several hours, you are untraceable. You have vanished from the map of the known world, and you are safe in the center of your own being. In the center of this room, there is a simple bed. It is prepared for you. It is the only object in the room. Walk to it. Lie down. Feel how the atmosphere of the citadel supports your rest. You do not need to keep one ear open for danger. The walls are doing the work of protection for you. The gate is doing the work of guarding for you. You can resign from the post of sentry. Often you stay awake because you feel vulnerable. You feel that if you close your eyes, something will go wrong. But here in the inner citadel, nothing can touch you. You are more secure than a king in his castle. You are more protected than a seed in a shell. The stone surrounds you. The earth surrounds the stone. The night surrounds the earth. Let your guard down. Visualize the armor you wear during the day, the social masks, the professional defenses, the emotional shields. Imagine taking them off, piece by piece, and placing them on the stone floor. You do not need them here. There is no enemy in this room. There is only you and the silence. Feel the density of the walls pressing in gently, holding the space together. This pressure is comforting. It is like a weighted blanket made of architecture. It holds you in. It keeps your energy from leaking out. In the world above, your energy is constantly dispersed, scattered like dust in the wind. In the citadel, your energy is contained. It pools around you, rising like warm water, replenishing your reserves. You are reclaiming your territory. During the day, you give pieces of your mind to everyone else. But tonight, you call all those pieces back. You pull up the drawbridge. You are sovereign here. This is your domain. It belongs to no one else. Breathe in the ancient, still air. It has a timeless quality. It is the same air that has been here for centuries. It slows your heart rate. It signals to your nervous system that the hunt is over. The war is over. The gates are barred. You are safe. Allow yourself to sink deeper into the feeling of isolation. In this context, isolation is not loneliness. It is sanctuary. It is the joy of being left alone. It is the luxury of privacy. No one is watching. No one is judging. You are free to be nothing but a breathing body in a quiet room. The inner citadel is real. It exists within the geography of your own consciousness. You have built it with your intention. Every time you return to this visualization, the walls get thicker, the gate gets stronger, the silence gets deeper. You are not exposed to the elements. You are not exposed to the uncertainty of the future. You are anchored in the rock. Rest now in this fortress. Let the world spin outside. Let the stars turn in the sky. Let the cities buzz and the traffic flow. It has nothing to do with you. You are deep inside the stone. You are protected. You are hidden. You are home. You are safe within the stone walls of your inner citadel. The world is locked out. Now that the perimeter is secure, we turn our attention inward to the condition of the vessel itself. You may feel tired. You may feel worn. You may feel that the stress of the day has left hairline fractures in your patience and your peace. This is natural. To live is to weather the storm. In the ancient philosophy of the East, there is an art form known as kintsugi. When a precious ceramic bowl is broken, the masters do not throw it away. They do not try to hide the cracks or glue it back together to look like new. Instead, they fill the cracks with a lacquer mixed with powdered gold. They honor the break. They highlight the damage. And in doing so, the bowl becomes more beautiful, more valuable, and stronger than it was before it was broken. The gold binds the pieces together, creating a landscape of shimmering veins. Tonight, you are the vessel. The events of the day, the worries of the mind, and the fatigue of the body are the cracks. Sleep is the liquid gold. Visualize your nervous system. It is a complex, delicate network of threads like a web of fine porcelain. During the waking hours, this web vibrates with high voltage. It carries the heavy load of information, decision, and reaction. It absorbs the shocks of the world. By the end of the day, this network feels frayed. It feels fragile. You might feel shattered or cracked by exhaustion, but you are not broken beyond repair. You are simply ready for the gold. Imagine that sleep is a warm, glowing, viscous liquid. It is heavy, like honey, and it shines with a soft, amber light. It is stored in the deep reservoirs of the night. As you lie in the stillness, this liquid gold begins to flow. It starts at the crown of your head, a gentle, warm stream pouring into the vessel of your body. It does not rush. It moves with the slow, inevitable pace of lava. It seeks out the cracks. It seeks out the places where you are holding tension. It seeks out the frayed edges of your thoughts. Feel the gold moving into your forehead. It fills the lines of worry. It seeps into the tight muscles around the eyes. Wherever it touches, it seals. It soothes. It binds the tired tissue back together with a bond of relaxation. The tension dissolves because the gold is stronger than the stress. Feel the stream flowing down into your jaw and your neck. These are the places where you hold the unsaid words and the grit of determination. The liquid gold fills the hinge of the jaw. It fills the vertebrae of the neck. It warms the throat. The sensation is one of profound mending. The jagged edges of the day are being smoothed over. You are being put back together, not as you were, but better. The gold flows into the shoulders, the heavy yoke you carry. It seeps deep into the fibers of the trapezius muscles. It finds the micro-tears of emotional burden and fills them with light. You can feel the heat of the repair. It is a comfortable, nourishing heat. It tells you that healing is happening right now. You do not have to do anything. The gold knows where to go. Watch the liquid move down the spine, coating the nervous system. Every nerve ending that is raw from overstimulation is now being coated in this soothing balm. The static noise of the nerves is silenced. The frantic signals are calmed. The gold acts as an insulator, quieting the electrical storm of the body. It flows into the chest, surrounding the heart. The heart, which has beaten thousands of times today, is cradled in this warm fluid. The cracks of sadness, the fissures of anxiety, the small breaks of disappointment, they are all being filled. The heart is becoming a masterpiece of kintsugi. The scars are turning into veins of gold. You are becoming resilient. The stream continues into the stomach, the hips, the legs. It moves all the way to the tips of the toes. You are now entirely filled with this golden substance. It is heavy. It anchors you to the bed. It solidifies. Consider the beauty of this repair. You are not trying to return to the state of the morning. You are evolving into the state of the night. The fatigue you feel is the space that allows the gold to enter. If you were not tired, there would be no room for this restoration. If you were not worn down, you could not be built up. Accept your tiredness as a gift. It is the invitation for the gold to flow. Do not wish to be unbreakable. The diamond is hard, but it is brittle. The willow bends, and the kintsugi bowl accepts its history. Be the bowl. Accept the cracks. They are the pathways for the light to enter. As the gold settles and begins to cool, you feel a sense of wholeness returning. You are solid. You are unified. The fragmented feeling of the overthinking mind, where you feel pulled in 10 directions at once, is gone. The gold has bound everything back into a single cohesive unit. You are a work of art in progress. The night is the artist. The sleep is the medium. Let the work continue. Lie still and let the repair take place in the dark. You are being remade, stronger at the broken places, shining with a hidden value that only rest can provide. You are whole. You are precious. You are gold. The walls are up. The gold is poured. The body is mended. But even in the safety of the citadel, there can be a coldness if the heart remains clenched. The mind may be quiet, but the emotions can still hold a defensive posture, a subtle tightness that expects a fight. To enter the deepest waters of sleep, we must unclench the fist of the heart. We use the ancient technology of metta, or loving kindness, to soften the armor that protects the emotional center. This is not about forcing yourself to feel happy or to love your enemies. It is a physiological practice. It is about signaling to your mammalian brain that it is safe to lower the weapon. Anger, resentment, and dislike are high-energy states. They require heat, they require tension, they keep the body temperature up and the heart rate elevated. To sleep, we must neutralize these acids. Begin with yourself. You are the closest being to you. Often the overthinker is their own harshest critic. You lie in bed judging your performance, analyzing your mistakes, scolding yourself for being awake. This internal hostility is a barrier to rest. Visualize a small warm light in the center of your chest. It is a soft pink or a gentle white. It is not burning, it is glowing. Quietly, without moving your lips, repeat the ancient phrases of safety to yourself. Treat yourself as you would a small, tired child who has had a long day. Say internally, "May I be safe." Feel the words land in the body. Safe from harm, safe from worry, safe from the tyranny of your own thoughts. Say internally, "May I be peaceful." Allow the word peaceful to dissolve the tension in the stomach. Let it be a permission slip to stop fighting. Say internally, "May I be kind to myself." This is the hardest and most important one. Forgive yourself for the day. Forgive yourself for the things left undone. Forgive yourself for the awkward words. It is over. You are allowed to be imperfect. You are allowed to rest. Now we extend this softening outward. Think of the empty boats we spoke of earlier, the people who drifted into your lane, the sources of your frustration. Holding on to anger toward them is like holding a hot coal. It burns you, not them. Tonight we put out the coal, not for them, but for you. You do not need to like them. You do not need to agree with them. You simply need to neutralize them so they do not inhabit your bed. Picture these people as small, distant figures on the horizon. They are struggling with their own lives, their own fatigue, their own confusion. They are just like you. seeking happiness and making mistakes. Send a wave of neutral benevolence toward them. May you be safe. May you be peaceful. May you be free from suffering. As you say these words, imagine cutting the invisible cord that ties you to them. When you are angry at someone, you are tied to them. You are dragging them into your sanctuary. When you wish them peace, you cut the cord. You release them. They drift away. You are free of them. Feel the physical sensation of this release. The chest expands. The shoulders drop another inch. The frown line between the eyebrows smooths out. The heat of irritation cools into the fresh breeze of indifference. You are reclaiming your emotional space. Expand this circle further, to the people sleeping in your building, to the animals in the forest, to the vast ocean of beings who are all drifting in the dark tonight. May we all be safe. May we all sleep. There is a profound relaxation in wishing well to the world. It aligns you with the flow of life rather than standing against it. It removes the friction of me against them. When you are no longer defending a position, you can lie down. When you are no longer keeping score, you can close your eyes. The practice of metta turns the bed from a battleground into a cradle. You are not lying there stewing in the juices of the day's conflicts. You are lying in a field of benevolence. The energy you are generating is soft. It is conducive to sleep. Allow this feeling of kindness to wrap around you like a warm blanket. It is a kindness that does not ask for anything in return. It is self-generating. It protects you from nightmares, for nightmares are often the mind trying to process unresolved conflict. By resolving the conflict now with a blanket of forgiveness, you clear the air for sweet dreams. You are safe, you are forgiven, you are benevolent. The heart is soft, and because it is soft, it is open to the deep, healing rhythms of the night. Let the warmth spread. Let the judgment fade. Let the love put you to sleep. You are safe. You are mended. You are soft. Now we face the final tyrant of the night, the clock. The overthinking mind is obsessed with time. It counts the hours. It calculates the minutes until the alarm. It creates a countdown that ticks like a bomb in the subconscious. If I fall asleep now, I will get 6 hours. Now 5 hours. Now 4. This calculation is the enemy of rest. It creates a pressure cooker. It turns sleep into a performance that must be achieved within a deadline. But sleep does not own a watch. Sleep operates in the realm of biology, not in the realm of numbers. Tonight, we enter the dissolution of time. We are going to mentally dismantle the clock and step into the eternal now. Visualize the clock on your wall or the phone by your bed. See the numbers glowing. See the hands moving. Now, in your mind's eye, reach out and take the clock down. Walk to the window of your inner citadel. There is a deep, bottomless ocean outside the window. Drop the clock. Watch it fall. It tumbles down, down, down into the dark water. It sinks into the silence. It is gone. You have entered a zone where time does not exist. There is no 2 a.m. There is no 4 a.m. There is only night. Night is not a measurement of time. It is a state of being. It is a vast, expansive territory. In the dream world, 1 minute of clock time can feel like 100 years. A 10-minute nap can feel like a full night's rest. This is because the subconscious mind is not linear. It is infinite. Release the scarcity mindset regarding time. The anxiety comes from thinking you don't have enough time. I need more sleep. It's too late. This is the scarcity talking. Shift to the abundance of the now. Right here, in this breath, you have eternity. The space between the inhale and the exhale is infinite if you go deep enough. You are not running out of time. You are swimming in it. Imagine that the night has stretched out. The horizon has moved back. You have hours and hours and hours of darkness ahead of you. It stretches out like a vast desert, quiet and empty. There is no rush to cross it. You can walk slowly, you can crawl, you can lie down. Tell your subconscious, there is nowhere to go, there is nothing to do, there is endless time. Feel the pressure release from the forehead. When you stop chasing sleep, you stop running. When you stop counting the hours, you stop judging the moment. The urgency evaporates. You are floating in the great pause. The world has stopped spinning. The sun will not rise until you are ready. You have managed to freeze the universe in this moment of comfort. Consider the ancient rocks. They do not count the years. Consider the trees. They do not check the time. They simply exist in the cycle. You are joining them. You are becoming a creature of the cycle, not a slave of the schedule. If you are awake in the eternal now. It is a peaceful place. If you are asleep in the eternal now. It is the same place. The label of time is irrelevant. Let the concept of tomorrow dissolve. Tomorrow is just a story. It is a ghost. It has no power here. Here there is only the rise and fall of the chest. There is only the sensation of the sheets. There is only the dark. You are stepping out of the stream of time and sitting on the bank. The river flows by. Seconds, minutes, hours. But you are not in the river. You are dry. You are still. You are watching the flow without being carried away by the panic of it. Expand your sense of the present. Make it wide. Make it deep. There is so much room here. There is so much peace here. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be, suspended in the amber of the timeless moment. Rest in this eternity. The alarm is 1,000,000 years away. The morning is a different lifetime. Right now, there is only this. Forever. We have built the walls. We have repaired the vessel. We have softened the heart. We have dissolved the clock. The field is now clear. The soil of your mind is dark, rich, and fallow. It is ready. Often we go to sleep with the weeds of today's worries, choking the garden. We drift off thinking about problems, and so the subconscious works on problems all night. We wake up tired because we have been gardening weeds in our sleep. Tonight, we change the planting. We consciously select a single seed of tomorrow to place in the fertile ground of your deep rest. Think of how a seed works. It is tiny. It looks like nothing, a speck of dust, a grain of sand. But inside that tiny shell, there is a blueprint for a massive tree, a fragrant flower, or a nourishing fruit. The seed contains the intelligence of the future. It knows exactly what to do. It does not need to be micromanaged. It just needs to be planted in good soil and left alone in the dark. Your mind right now is the soil. It is deep, nutrient-rich, and receptive. The sleep you are about to enter is the winter season that allows the seed to germinate. What quality do you wish to wake up with tomorrow? Do not think of a task like finish the report. Think of a state of being. Is it calm? Is it energy? Is it clarity? Is it joy? Choose one word, just one. This is your seed. Visualize this word as a small, glowing sphere of light. It is a tiny pearl pulsating with the potential of that quality. Hold it in the center of your mind. Look at it. It is perfect. It is whole. It contains the entire feeling of a good morning. Now, gently, with the tenderness of a master gardener, plant this seed in the center of your consciousness. Visualize making a small hole in the dark, warm earth of your mind. Place the glowing pearl inside. Cover it with the soft soil of sleep. Pat the earth down. It is done. You do not need to make it grow. You cannot make it grow. If you dig it up every hour to check on it, it will die. You must trust the process of the night. You must trust that while you are unconscious, while you are drifting in the void, the alchemy of your brain is watering this seed. It is organizing your neurons, clearing the toxins, and building the pathways that will allow this quality to bloom when the sun rises. This is the ultimate act of faith. You are surrendering the outcome to the darkness. Feel the relief of this delegation. You have given your mind a job to do that is positive, not negative. Instead of chewing on a worry, it will be nurturing a hope. You have set the trajectory for your awakening. Imagine for just a fleeting second, the moment you open your eyes tomorrow. Imagine that the first thing you feel is not stress, but the sprouting of this seed. You feel the calm. You feel the energy. It has grown overnight, effortlessly. Now let that image go. Return to the dark soil. The planting is finished. The season of rest has begun. You are the garden, you are the gardener, and you are the soil. Everything is set, everything is prepared. The conditions are perfect for growth. You can walk away now, you can leave the garden gate closed. The night will do the work. The rain of sleep will fall, the silence will nourish, and you will simply rest, knowing that a beautiful thing is growing beneath the surface, waiting to greet you in the light. Let go. Trust the seed. Trust the dark. Sleep. We have spent this night clearing the land. We have built the walls of the citadel to keep the noise out. We have repaired the cracks in the vessel with gold. We have softened the heart with kindness and dissolved the tyranny of the clock. Now the field of your consciousness is lying fallow. It is dark, rich, and silent. It is waiting. The mind is often compared to a garden, but for the overthinker, it is usually a garden that has been allowed to run wild. We go to sleep with the weeds of the day still choking the soil. We drift off while chewing on the thorns of unfinished problems, the brambles of conflict and the dry roots of anxiety. Because we fall asleep holding these weeds, the subconscious mind spends the entire night tending to them. It waters the anxiety, it prunes the conflict, it fertilizes the fear. We wake up exhausted because we have been gardening the wrong plants in the dark. Tonight, we change the planting. We are going to perform a deliberate act of seeding the future. We are going to place a single, perfect intention into the deep, fertile ground of your deep sleep. This is not an act of doing, it is an act of trust. Visualize the landscape of your mind right now. It is no longer the rocky, storm-tossed terrain of the waking hours. It has become a vast, open plain of dark soil. This soil is warm. It smells of the earth after a heavy rain, a scent of ozone, petrichor, and deep, ancient minerals. It is the most fertile substance in the universe. It is the raw potential of the subconscious. Anything planted here will grow. Anything placed here will be amplified by the power of the night. You are standing in the center of this field. It is night, but it is not a frightening night. It is a protective, velvet night. Above you, the stars are silent witnesses. You are holding something in the palm of your hand. Look at your hand in your mind's eye. Sitting in the center of your palm is a single seed. It is tiny, no larger than a grain of sand or a speck of starlight, but do not be deceived by its size. Inside this tiny shell lies the blueprint for a massive reality. Inside this seed is the DNA of your tomorrow. This seed represents the quality you wish to embody when you open your eyes in the morning. It is not a task. It is not a to-do list item. It is a state of being. What is the nature of this seed? Perhaps it is the seed of calm. Perhaps it is the seed of energy. Perhaps it is the seed of clarity. Perhaps it is the seed of joy. Choose one word, just one. Do not complicate the planting with a mixture of different seeds. The subconscious loves simplicity. Pick the one quality that your spirit is thirsty for. Hold that word in your mind. Visualize the seed glowing with the color of that word. If it is calm, perhaps it glows with a soft, cool blue light. If it is energy, perhaps it pulses with a warm, vibrant amber. If it is joy, perhaps it shines with a delicate sunrise pink. Feel the weight of the seed in your hand. It feels heavy, dense with potential. It is vibrating gently against your skin. This seed contains the chemical instructions for your nervous system. It contains the map for your mood. It contains the architecture of your perspective. Now, slowly, with great reverence and tenderness, kneel down on the soft earth of your mind. Reach out with your hand. With your finger, make a small, shallow indentation in the soil. The earth yields to you easily. It wants to receive the seed. Place the glowing pearl into the hole. Watch it rest there for a moment, illuminating the dark soil around it like a tiny lantern in a cave. It is safe here. It is home. Gently cover the seed with the warm earth. Pat it down softly. The light is covered. The seed is now in the darkness. This moment, the covering of the seed, is the most critical part of the practice. It represents the transition from conscious control to subconscious creation. You cannot make the seed grow by watching it. You cannot force it to sprout by analyzing it. If you dig it up every hour to check on its progress, it will die. You must leave it alone. You must trust the darkness. Sleep is the winter season of the mind. In nature, winter is not a time of death. It is a time of dormancy and incubation. The snow covers the fields and silence descends. But deep underground, below the frost line, a miracle is happening. The hard shell of the seed is softening. The nutrients in the soil are waking up the germ. The roots are beginning to reach down, anchoring themselves in the dark. Your sleep tonight is that winter. By entering the state of unconsciousness, you are providing the perfect conditions for this seed to germinate. The silence of your mind is the water. The darkness of the dream state is the nutrient. The length of the night is the time required for the roots to take hold. You are surrendering the outcome. This is a profound relief. You do not have to build your tomorrow with a hammer and nails. You do not have to construct your mood with force. You have done your part. You have planted the seed. Now, nature takes over. Feel the responsibility lifting from your shoulders. You are no longer the architect. You are merely the observer. The biological machinery of your brain, the glial cells, the neurons, the synapses, is now going to work for you. While you drift in the void, they will be tending to this seed. They will be washing away the toxins of stress and weaving the neural pathways of the quality you chose. If you chose calm, your brain will be pruning the circuits of anxiety and strengthening the circuits of peace while you sleep. If you chose energy, your mitochondria will be replenishing their stores, preparing to flood your veins with vitality the moment you wake. If you chose clarity, the fog of confusion will be settled and organized into a crystal-clear landscape. Trust this process. It is older than you. It is the same intelligence that turns an acorn into an oak tree without any effort from the acorn. It is the same intelligence that turns a caterpillar into a butterfly inside the dark tomb of the cocoon. You are the cocoon tonight. You are wrapping yourself in the sheets, closing the eyes and allowing the transformation to happen in the dark. Imagine for just a fleeting second the moment of waking up tomorrow morning. Imagine the alarm goes off or the sun hits your face, but instead of the usual rush of worry, you feel something different pushing up through the soil of your consciousness. You feel a sprout of green. You feel the quality you planted. It is there, fully formed, waiting for you. You wake up as the calm. You wake up as the joy. Now let that image go. That is the future. We are not in the future. We are in the planting time. We are in the dark. Return your attention to the feeling of the soil. It is quiet. The seed is safe. There is nothing left to do. The garden gate is closed. The tools are put away. The moon is high. You can rest now. The work is finished. The seed is sleeping, and so must you. Sink deeper into the earth. Let the darkness wrap around you like a heavy, comforting blanket. You are rooting yourself in the night. You are grounded. You are held. You are growing in the silence. We have moved from the visual world of the garden into the deeper, more primal world of vibration. As the images of the seed and the soil fade away, we are left with something more fundamental. We are left with sound. But this is not sound as you know it in the waking world. It is not the sound of traffic or voices or music. It is the sound of existence itself. In the ancient traditions of the East, it is believed that the universe was not created with a touch, but with a sound. That primordial vibration is called Om. It is the background radiation of the cosmos. It is the hum of the atoms vibrating in the void. It is the engine of reality. When you are awake, your ears are tuned to the surface noise. You hear the high-pitched frequencies of urgency. You hear the staccato rhythm of anxiety. You hear the chaotic static of the monkey mind chattering away. These sounds are distractions. They pull your attention outward, keeping you on the periphery of the wheel. Tonight, we are going to tune the radio of your hearing to a different station. We are going to tune into the low, steady hum of the center. Begin by listening to the silence in your room. We did this before, but now we go deeper. Do not just listen for silence. Listen to the silence. Realize that silence is not empty. It has a texture. It has a weight. It has a frequency. If you listen very closely, underneath the silence of the room, you will begin to hear a faint, high-pitched ringing or a low, thrumming vibration. This is not tinnitus. This is the sound of your own nervous system. It is the sound of the life force running through the wires of your body. It is the biological Om. Focus on this sound. It is steady. It does not judge. It does not tell stories. It simply is. It is the sound of you being alive. Now, expand your listening beyond your body. Imagine that the earth itself is making a sound as it spins on its axis. It is a massive, heavy, resonant hum, too low for the human ear to hear consciously, but perceptible to the deep mind. It is the sound of gravity. It is the sound of geology. Feel this low hum vibrating in your bones. It is a comforting sound. It reminds you that you are riding on a massive rock that is drifting through space. You do not need to hold yourself up. The earth is holding you. The vibration of the planet is supporting the vibration of your body. Now, go even further. Listen to the sound of the space between the stars. It is the sound of the velvet void. It is a silence so deep it becomes a roar. This is the universal Om. It is the carrier wave of all peace. The overthinking mind is like a small engine that is revving frantically, trying to power the whole universe by itself. It is making a loud, clanking, exhausting noise. I must solve this. I must fix that. I must plan. The practice of the universal hum is the practice of shutting off your small engine because you realize the big engine is running. Imagine you are on a massive ocean liner. You are in your cabin, deep in the belly of the ship. You can feel the vibration of the ship's massive engines. They are powerful, rhythmic, and unstoppable. Because those engines are running, you do not need to paddle. You do not need to swim. You do not need to worry about moving the ship. The ship is moving you. Tonight, the universe is that ship. The universal hum is the engine. Feel the vibration in your mattress. Feel it in the pillow. It is a lullaby that has been playing for billions of years. It says, I have this. I am carrying you. You can sleep. Allow your own internal voice to synchronize with this hum. The voice in your head that loves to argue and analyze is starting to slow down. It is matching its pitch to the low, slow vibration of the night. The sharp, jagged waves of beta brain activity are smoothing out. They are becoming long, rolling waves of theta. You are becoming a tuning fork. When a tuning fork is struck, it vibrates at a specific frequency. If you bring a second tuning fork near it, the second one will begin to vibrate in sympathy without even being touched. The universe is the first tuning fork. It is vibrating at the frequency of deep rest. You are the second tuning fork. By simply lying here and listening, you are coming into resonance. You are catching the vibe of the cosmos. Feel this resonance moving through your body like a wave of sound. It starts in the feet, loosening the tightness in the soles. It moves up the legs, dissolving the tension in the calves and thighs. It vibrates in the hips, the stomach, the chest. It resonates in the throat, relaxing the vocal cords that have spoken so many words today. It fills the head, shaking loose the sticky thoughts that are clinging to the sides of your mind. The sound is washing you clean. It is a sonic bath. The debris of the day is being shaken loose by this gentle vibration and carried away into the silence. You are no longer a person trying to sleep. You are a note in a chord. You are a frequency in a song. You are blending in. The boundary between you and the hum is fading. When the mind tries to form a thought, it is like a ripple trying to form on a lake that is vibrating. The vibration breaks up the ripple before it can become a wave. The thought dissolves back into the sound. Om. It is not a word you say. It is a sound you become. Let the sound carry you. It is a river of vibration flowing toward the ocean of dreams. You are drifting on it. It is effortless. It is automatic. It is inevitable. The hum is getting lower now. It is getting slower. It is taking you down to the delta level, the deepest, slowest, most restorative level of the mind. Down here there are no words. There are no concepts. There is only the hum of the blood. You are safe in the sound. It surrounds you like a force field. Nothing can penetrate it. Rest in the vibration. Let it massage your spirit. Let it sing you to sleep. You are the sound, and the sound is peace. We have planted the seed in the earth. We have dissolved into the vibration of the sound. Now we are ready for the final dissolution. We are ready to enter the space where nothing exists, and therefore where everything is at peace. We are entering the velvet void. In the West, we are often afraid of emptiness. We associate the void with nothingness, with loss, with non-existence. We fill our lives with noise, objects, and thoughts because we are terrified of the blank space. But in the wisdom of the East, the void, shunyata, is not empty in a negative sense. It is empty in the way a womb is empty before conception. It is empty in the way a cup is empty so it can be filled. It is a space of infinite potential and absolute comfort. Imagine you are an astronaut. You have left the heavy, noisy atmosphere of the Earth. You have passed the moon. You have drifted far beyond the reach of the sun. You are floating in deep intergalactic space. Look around you. There is no horizon. There is no ground. There is no sky. There is only a vast, endless expanse of darkness. But this darkness is not cold. It is not frightening. It is a warm, living substance. It feels thick, like heavy velvet. It wraps around you. It supports you. In this space, there is no gravity. Think about what gravity does to you all day. It pulls on your muscles. It compresses your spine. It demands that you hold yourself up. It is a constant, invisible adversary that you are fighting every second you are awake. Here, in the velvet void, the war with gravity is over. You are weightless. Feel the sensation of your body on the bed. The bed is no longer pushing up against you. You are sinking through the bed. You are sinking through the floor. You are floating free in the dark, warm suspension of the void. Because there is no gravity, there is no up and no down. If there is no up, you cannot fall. If there is no down, you cannot sink. If there is no forward, you cannot be late. If there is no backward, you cannot have a past. You have lost your coordinates. And this loss is the ultimate freedom. The overthinking mind is obsessed with coordinates. It wants to know, where am I in my career? Where am I in my relationships? Where am I on the clock? It is constantly checking the GPS of the ego. In the void, the GPS has no signal. The map is blank. You are just here, floating, drifting, turning slowly in the zero gravity of sleep. The void is the great eraser. It erases the chalkboard of the day. All the calculations, all the conversations, all the images, they are wiped clean by the velvet sponge of the night. Visualize your identity, your name, your job, your history as a heavy spacesuit. It has protected you, but it is heavy. It is restrictive. In this deep space, you do not need the suit. Imagine unzipping the suit. Step out of it. Let it float away. Watch your name float away into the darkness. You don't need it right now. Watch your job title float away. It has no meaning here. Watch your worries float away. They are just debris. You are now naked consciousness. You are a spark of awareness floating in the benevolent nothingness. This state is called Yoga Nidra, the sleep of the yogi. It is a state where the body is completely asleep, but the awareness is resting in the source. The texture of the void is soothing. It absorbs everything. If a thought tries to arise, the void absorbs it instantly, like a drop of water falling into a dark ocean. There is no echo here. There is no feedback loop. Feel the boundaries of your skin dissolving. Where do you end and the darkness begin? It is impossible to tell. You are merging with the vastness. You are becoming the space itself. This is the antidote to claustrophobia of the mind. During the day, the mind feels crowded. It feels small, stuffed with too many demands. Tonight, you have infinite room. You can expand in all directions for 1 billion miles, and you will touch nothing but peace. Breathe in the darkness. It is rich. It is nourishing. It is the raw material of creation. Stars are born from this darkness. Galaxies are spun from this void. You are returning to the factory of the universe to be remade. Do not resist the nothingness. Embrace it. Let yourself become nothing. I am nothing, you whisper to the void, and the void whispers back, and because you are nothing, you are free. There is no pain in nothingness. There is no stress in nothingness. There is only a deep, abiding stillness that has no bottom. Allow yourself to fall, not a fast fall, but a slow, drifting descent, deeper into the velvet, deeper into the quiet. The lights of the world are gone. The sounds of the world are gone. The gravity of the world is gone. There is only this, dark, soft, endless peace. You are safe in the womb of the universe. You are suspended in the solution of rest. You are home in the void. Rest here, float here. Be nothing here for as long as you need. The void has you. You are held. You are asleep. We have floated in the void. We have vibrated with the sound. Now we return to the earth, but not as flesh and blood. To achieve the deepest level of physical restoration, we must invite the body to enter a state of absolute geological permanence. We move from the fluid nature of the water to the solid nature of the stone. In the jungles of Asia, there are statues of the sleeping Buddha carved directly into the side of massive granite cliffs. These statues have been there for 2,000 years. They have seen empires rise and fall. They have seen monsoons and droughts. They have seen wars and peace. Through it all, they have not moved 1 millimeter. They are the embodiment of sthira, steady, motionless, enduring resolve. Tonight, you are not a person lying in a bed. You are that statue. You are carving yourself into the bedrock of the night. Visualize your physical form. Your skin is no longer fragile tissue. It is turning into smooth, cool alabaster. Your muscles are no longer fibers that twitch with adrenaline. They are mineralizing into heavy, dense granite. Your bones are no longer hollow. They are solid iron, the armature of the monument. Feel the transformation beginning in your feet. The sensation is one of immense, comforting weight. It is as if your feet have merged with the mattress, and the mattress has merged with the floor, and the floor has merged with the crust of the planet. There is no separation. You are rooted. If a strong wind were to blow through the room, it could not move you. You are too heavy. You are too ancient. Let this fossilization move up the legs, the calves, the knees, the thighs. They are locking into place. This is not a rigid, tense locking. It is the settling of a mountain into its base. It is the relaxation of gravity taking total control. You are surrendering the ability to move. You are giving up the ghost of animation. For the next 8 hours, these legs are stone. They have nowhere to walk. They have no burden to carry. They are simply existing. Feel the heavy stone sensation move into the hips and the torso. The breath continues, but it is the breath of a mountain, slow, almost imperceptible. It takes 100 years to inhale and 100 years to exhale. The chest rises and falls with the tectonic rhythm of the earth. The heart beats, but it is the deep, muffled thud of a drum buried deep underground. Now bring this stillness to the hands and arms. They are resting by your sides or on your chest. Imagine they are carved from marble. The fingers are curved in a gesture of eternal relaxation. They are not grasping anything. They are not reaching for anything. They are resting. A statue does not check its phone. A statue does not adjust the blanket. A statue simply is. Finally, the face. The face is the part of us that is most alive during the day. It smiles, it frowns, it talks, it masks. Now let the face turn to stone. The jaw unhinges and sets. The cheeks smooth out, erasing the lines of time. The eyes turn inward, becoming jewels set deep in the rock. The forehead is a smooth, cool expanse of polished slate. You have achieved the posture of the sleeping Buddha. In this state, you are immune to the itch of the mind. The monkey mind may try to tell you to move, to scratch, to shift, but you are stone. Stone does not itch. Stone does not react. You observe the urge to move as a leaf blowing past the face of the statue. It touches you, but it does not disturb you. You remain. There is a profound safety in being this heavy. When you are light, you can be blown away by anxiety. When you are heavy, anxiety breaks against you like a wave crashing against a cliff. You are the cliff. The thoughts are just the spray. Feel the dignity of this posture. You are a monument to peace. You are a sanctuary of stillness in a moving world. You are occupying your space with total authority. You are not apologizing for taking up space. You are not shrinking. You are vast, solid, and immovable. Time speeds up for the statue. Because you are so still, the hours of the night will pass like seconds. The moon will arc across the sky. The stars will turn. The sun will rise. And you will remain held in this deep, mineral embrace. You are preserving your energy. You are storing your power. Let the weight increase. Sink deeper. You are dropping through the layers of the earth, past the soil, past the clay, down to the solid, unshakable core. You are grounded. You are fixed. You are the stone that the builder refused, now becoming the cornerstone of your own rest. Be still. Be heavy. Be the statue. You are the stone statue, immovable and heavy. But deep within the mind, there may still be a flickering light. There is a part of the human brain, the amygdala, the primal sentry, that believes it is unsafe to close both eyes. It believes that if it stops watching, the roof will fall in, the future will collapse, or the threats of the world will sneak through the gate. This is the night watchman. It is the part of you that stays alert, listening for creaks in the floorboards, scanning for danger in the silence. This watchman is not your enemy. It loves you. It is trying to keep you alive. That is why fighting it never works. If you yell at the watchman to go to sleep, he only becomes more agitated, believing the danger is even greater. Tonight, we do not fight the watchman. We relieve him of his duty. We perform the changing of the guard. Visualize your mind as a great walled fortress, the inner citadel we built earlier. High up on the ramparts, there is a tower. In that tower, the watchman has been pacing back and forth all day, and now into the night. He is tired, his eyes are burning, he is holding a lantern, peering into the dark, worried about tomorrow, worried about yesterday. Now imagine a new figure approaching the tower. This is the universal guardian. This figure is tall, strong, and radiates a calm, divine authority. This guardian does not need to sleep. This guardian sees in the dark. This guardian has the power of the universe behind him. He is the archetype of absolute protection. Watch the scene unfold in your mind. The guardian climbs the stairs to the tower. He approaches the tired watchman, the anxious part of your brain. He places a gentle hand on the watchman's shoulder. He speaks in a low, resonant voice. I am here now. I have the watch. You can stand down. The watchman looks at the guardian. He sees the strength. He sees the capability. He realizes that this new protector is far more powerful than he is. He breathes a sigh of relief. The burden of holding the world together is lifted from his small shoulders. Visualize the transfer of the keys. The watchman takes the heavy ring of keys from his belt. These are the keys to your life, the key to your job, the key to your family, the key to your health, the key to your finances. He hands them over to the guardian. The guardian accepts them. He clips them to his belt. I have them, he says. They are safe with me. Now the watchman hands over the lantern. The light of vigilance is passed from your small, tired self to the great, tireless self. The guardian takes his post at the edge of the wall. He looks out into the darkness. He is not afraid. He is the master of the night. He says to you, I will watch the perimeter. I will watch the breathing. I will watch the heart. I will watch the house. I will watch the future. Nothing will pass me. You are dismissed. Watch the tired part of yourself walk down the stairs of the tower. Feel the sensation of walking away from responsibility. For the first time in 16 hours, you are not responsible for anything. You are not responsible for safety. You are not responsible for awareness. You are not responsible for the next inhale. It is all being handled. Listen. Can you hear the heavy, rhythmic footsteps of the guardian pacing the wall? Thud, thud, thud. That rhythm is your heartbeat. Every time your heart beats, it is the guardian saying, I am here, all is well. Every time you take a breath, it is the guardian saying, I am watching. You can drift. You can let go of the need to listen to the room. The guardian is listening for you. If there is a real emergency, a fire, a cry, a danger, the guardian will wake you instantly. You know this. Therefore, you do not need to monitor the silence. You can turn off your auditory radar. Feel the profound relaxation of the off-duty state. You are like a soldier who has returned to the barracks after a long patrol. You have taken off your boots. You have unbuckled your belt. You are lying in the bunk. The war is outside, but the guardian is at the gate. You are completely, utterly authorized to disconnect. Say to your subconscious, I delegate the rest of this night to the guardian. Feel the final wire being cut, the wire of vigilance. The connection between your attention and the outside world is severed. The guardian stands between you and the void, a shield of pure light. He will be there all night. He will be there when the sun rises to hand the keys back to you. But for now, the keys are gone. The duty is gone. The watch is over. Turn your back on the tower. Walk into the deep, warm interior of the fortress. It is time to go deep. It is time to disappear. The watchman sleeps and the guardian stands ready. The statue is set. The guard is changed. The vessel is sealed. We have arrived at the final threshold. Beyond this point, there are no more images. Beyond this point, there are no more metaphors. There is only the destination. There is only the infinite black. We are about to enter the deepest frequency of the universe, the delta state. This is the basement of the cosmos. It is the place where life regenerates itself. It is a place of absolute pure negation. Visualize a pool of liquid darkness. It is not water. It is thicker than water. It is like warm black ink. It is opaque. It is impenetrable. It is the color of the deepest trench in the ocean where sunlight has never touched. This blackness is not empty. It is full. It is saturated with rest. It is saturated with healing. It is the primal soup of creation. You are standing at the edge of this pool. You are the body of light, the uncarved block, the weary traveler. You are ready to submerge. Step in, feel the liquid darkness rising up to meet you. It is the perfect temperature, the exact temperature of your blood. It dissolves the boundary between the skin and the fluid. It rises to your ankles, soothing the bones. It rises to your knees, silencing the nerves. It rises to your hips, uncoiling the tension. It rises to your chest, slowing the heart to a tectonic rhythm. It rises to your neck, swallowing the voice. Now, lay back. Let the blackness cover your face. Let it cover your eyes. Let it fill your ears. You are gone. You are submerged in the infinite black. Here there is no light to stimulate the optic nerve. There is no sound to stimulate the eardrum. There is no sensation to stimulate the skin. You are in a sensory deprivation tank built by nature. In this blackness, your identity dissolves completely. You are no longer a name. You are no longer an age. You are no longer a profession. You are simply a point of consciousness floating in the dark. This is the little death that the mystics speak of, the death of the ego that allows for the rebirth of the spirit. Every night you practice this dying so that you may live again in the morning. Do not fear it. It is the most natural thing in the world. It is the factory reset of the soul. Feel the liquid darkness seeping into your brain. It is washing the neurons. It is clearing out the beta-amyloid toxins of the day. It is scrubbing the mind clean. You can feel the physical sensation of the brain cooling down, dimming, powering off. The lights on the dashboard are going out one by one. There is only the hum of the blackness. You have found the secret path. You have found the sanctuary that the world has forgotten. You know now that this place exists inside you, waiting for you every night. But listen closely to the silence. This path can be easily lost in the noise of the waking world. The weeds of the day grow back quickly. To keep this gate open, to ensure that you can find your way back to this citadel, this garden and this infinite blackness, you must keep the connection strong. You must tether yourself to this source. Make a silent agreement with your deeper self right now. I will return here. By keeping your connection to this channel open, by ensuring you are subscribed to this frequency, you are building a permanent bridge to this peace. You are not just visiting, you are moving in. You are ensuring that tomorrow night and the night after, the guide will be here. The guardian will be waiting, and the darkness will welcome you back. Do not let the bridge collapse. Stay tethered. Stay close to the source.